Who'd be the best teams if there wasn't a salary cap? It's an interesting question to ask because before we had a salary cap, the team that spent the most didn't necessarily end up being the best team. I would say the team that spends their money wisely. In a non-salary cap world, you got to think that the Leafs would still be pretty darn good. You wouldn't be having the kind of constraints on the Leafs right now that you do. Boston would probably spend well if there wasn't a cap, I would think. And of course, Yzerman would be free to. It would speed up the process by which we go through rebuilds now. You'd probably see that process sped up a little bit. Go ahead.
Can I join you?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a bun.
Yeah,
Hello,
she just sits
Bun.
at my feet a lot.
Hi there, sweetie.
She does.
Good bun.
She's right here.
Moving your phone.
Baby. So when I do videos, she likes to sit at my feet.
Look at this sweet bun.
She's a good girl.
Hi there, Cinnabon. How are you? Oh, look at her just pile.
Free run of the house, and she
Piles.
chooses to be in here. Hey, Bun.
Hi, sweetie. You're a good girl, huh?
She is. She's a
Like
very
good
good rabbit.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
How you doing, baby?
Are you gonna write
Sweetie.
more sci-fi? He would love to. He's
If I had the
kind of
time.
a very busy man.
Yeah, if I had the time, absolutely.
Shannon is a ridiculous.
With the new AI stuff they're coming out with, that might make it a little easier. Where the AI will write stuff for you. But
That's weird.
It is weird.
That's weird. And Christmas bunnies. Oh, I should. Shannon's admiring my Santa hat. There was a little girl at church that I went over and I told her that her dress was so pretty, and the whole time she was doing this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she told
it'd
me,
be hard
"Your
not to."
hat's
Hi, Bun.
too small. Got a letter. Kenny
Kenny
Shamrock's jersey as a gift today. Merry Christmas. That's what. Hi, Bun.
I don't
know.
have my
Hi,
blueberry
sweetie.
bulldogs yet. I'm still waiting on that.
Oh yeah.
Still waiting on my blueberry
Hi
bulldogs.
guys. Hope you're having a nice weekend. You as well.
It's quiet.
A new kitten.
Oh,
Somebody got a kitten for their family for Christmas named
No, we're not
Ryan.
playing right now,
I
sweetie.
think he's part Maine Coon. Oh, that's very fun.
Come on, sweetie.
Staying warm. It warmed up so much. Oh my goodness.
It's up to
Our
7 degrees today.
temperature went up 20 degrees in 2 days.
Yep.
Which means it's a mess outside. It's a mess.
But it's much warmer in here. I was to a point where I couldn't get it above 13 degrees in here. That's Celsius. So
it was really, really
was chilly.
cold. Which makes it feel really nice outside. I just came home from church and I was just wearing a rain jacket. I wasn't wearing my winter coat, which is probably still soaking wet from yesterday. The Isles missed the playoffs again this year. Could you make the case to blow it up with the only untouchable being Barzal, Dobson, PMP, and Sorokin?
You can make the argument. I don't know if Lou Lamoriello would buy that. Lamoriello, if they miss the playoffs but they still have a good record, I don't think he'd blow it up.
1999, first round, worst ever.
2000 was pretty iffy too. I've been meaning to do something on draft classes like that. But yeah, 1999 and 2000 were both pretty rough.
Oh, somebody likes my hat. I like my hat too. That pairs what I look like when I'm exercising. See? That's what I would look like.
What do you think you're doing?
In
You're going to pick a
cartoon
fight
form.
with Shadow? Oh, that's cute.
My coworker asked where I got my Kraken hat. All I heard was, "Where did you get the Kraken?" That's funny. Shannon is not drinking a beer because he doesn't drink beer.
Hey,
We don't ever have beer in our house unless I'm using it to bake with.
Unless
and even
somebody else
that
brings
is
it over.
Right. And then I bake with it because we don't drink beer. We really, really don't.
We still have the beer from when Sherry and Charlie came over.
I know,
that time.
because there was 4 of them and I
Hi.
haven't made that much beer bread.
How you doing,
Merry
Shadow?
Christmas. What are your mid-season picks for the Stanley Cup right now? For me, Boston, Vegas.
I don't change my predictions during the season. My prediction before the season started was Colorado and the New York Rangers. I'll leave it at that, but at the start of the playoffs, that will change in all likelihood. I still think Colorado, once they come through their injuries and everything, they've still got an excellent team. And I'm not writing off Tampa Bay necessarily either, although I know they've played a ton of hockey and eventually it's going to have to fall off a bit for them. But Boston, Vegas are good picks.
I'm using my cup to keep my hands warm. Fisherman reception has been surprisingly positive.
Yep. It's all that time out. People don't remember. It's sort of like in Vancouver when people are talking about Britt wanting the Flying V back. They forget how absolutely horrendously awful the Canucks were during the Flying V era and a lot of the skate era as well. People just, forget about the team's record. And I'm not surprised that the Fisherman jersey looks nice. The new Fisherman looks better than the old Fisherman.
Well, hey, it looks better than the old one. That does not mean it looks nice.
Sure does.
Disagree.
Very nice.
Happy whatever day.
That to Disneyland.
No, you're not. Love your channel. That bunny looks like one from our past named Ewok. Aw, yep, we are that old. We're that old too.
Absolutely. I'm surprised you haven't had one named Wicket.
I know. I loved Wicket. He was the best.
I'm surprised you didn't name any of our rabbits Wicket.
Right? I really wanted to name one Gurgi, but
no.
Nobody would even know what movie that was from. So
nope.
Is Kent Hughes happy with Montreal's seasons thus far?
He should be happy. They're staying competitive. They're winning games, and they're below the playoff line, so they have an excellent chance of drafting a very good player this year. And their young players are taking that next step. So I think things are going pretty well for Montreal.
You did that video on your favorites of the new reverse retros, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There is a video on that. I was pretty positive.
I compared this round of reverse retros to the first round of them as well. Right. But yeah, I've done the ranking of all 32 from 1 through 32, which differs from others because of course it does.
Yeah, his is wrong. So
I like how
the
one thing I mentioned is I like how we all become fashion designers when new jerseys come out.
It's true.
That all sports fans become, well, I think this color is wrong and this design choice was a bad one. And we all become fashion designers at that point.
You guys all need that little, like the Barbie fashion designer set where you put the little plates on and you color it with the side of your crayon. Did you have one of those when you were little? I totally did.
No. If it wasn't related to Knight Rider, I wasn't interested.
Was there not a Knight Rider fashion design Barbie plates?
No.
They should.
No. I don't even know if there was a Bonnie action figure. So I don't even, there should have been, but.
When do you think the Habs will retire Steve Shutt number 22?
I'm kind of surprised they haven't already. Steve Shutt was a big part of a very, very successful dynasty team in Montreal. I would think eventually that happens. I'm surprised it hasn't yet.
Thank you for your great and consistent content. Any chance you'd come see the Caps and Canes Stadium Series? Nope. You're welcome at the tailgate. That is not realistic at all. As awesome as that would be. That was...
Okay, because I was hearing that and it was like something falling apart.
Sorry, that was me.
But yeah, we're going to Disneyland at the end of January. So
February.
Since that game is in February, that would be coming, and you wouldn't be able to go, and then it would just be me.
Right. And we don't really do that. We like to do things together.
Yeah.
We're one of those weird couples.
Yeah.
We like to do stuff together.
And like this year, I'm only going to 2 Canuck games in total this year, Vancouver, that is. Hopefully I'll find a quiet night to go see an Abbotsford game soon. But it's really with the NHL schedule the way it is. I couldn't do a trip like that if I wanted to. It would create more headaches.
Why does Adam Fox get a pass for refusing to play for Calgary and Carolina and orchestrating a trade to the Rangers?
He was pretty honest from the beginning about what his plans were and what he wanted to do. I don't know about getting a pass. I know he has been booed by Calgary fans at one point. I think he's been booed by Carolina fans as well at one point. Not now. Really, it was just, and there are players that will decide that, and that is part of the reason why if a player's going the NCAA route, there are certain GMs that I think maybe hesitate a little bit and would rather go with somebody through the CHL or through Europe, that they're going to retain their rights longer and not worry about losing for nothing.
We didn't bring up this little Christmas tree. I forgot. Just enjoyed Bob and Doug's 12 Days of Christmas. The boys think that's the best Christmas song ever. Is it gratifying to see TSN's Bob McKenzie retired now as Bobby Margarita? Great analyst.
Bob McKenzie is really and truly one of the best analysts, and the fact that even in retirement, TSN brings him back to discuss things like World Juniors and the draft and whatnot. It's nice to see him happy and relaxed. And maybe someday I'll be happy and relaxed. I can be one or the other. I can never be both, for whatever reason, at this point.
Thoughts on knees?
Nice.
Okay. And when does he join the Leafs?
Probably. I mean, I think when the NCAA season's over, he could sign and he could play with them right away. But I think more realistically, he'll show up next year and play for them next season.
Merry Christmas. Hope you have an amazing day. Flyers need a new defense from a fan in the northeast of England.
There are issues with the Flyers blue line. It does affect Carter Hart's numbers. It's affected Sandstrom's numbers as well. For the Flyers, it really is a matter of them needing to go through their retool or rebuild, whatever they decide to do with it. As much as Tortorella wanted to make them better, the numbers just show that this is a team that's in steep decline.
I Believe in Santa was not an awful movie. You're wrong. Do the St. Louis Blues, there we go, right the ship and make the playoffs, or is this roster just not it? Merry Christmas.
They have a good roster. They just have not gotten on a run. I would think if it was any coach, not Craig Berube, I would think there'd be calls for making a change behind the bench. Berube's too popular. It's not going to happen. I'm very surprised where St. Louis is. They're just not consistent enough. For them to be able to get into the playoffs, they have to find that consistency. It just hasn't been there so far.
Lars is on it today.
Of course he is.
Merry Christmas, guys. Shannon, baseball question. Where does 3-4 rank as far as in the great postseason of MLB this century?
Though the best series ever was when the Red Sox were down 3-0 against the Yankees and they won it. So for me, that was the greatest moment for me ever watching baseball. I never cheered like that in my life. I never thought that was going to happen. That was a magical run by the Red Sox, and so that for me would be my vote as the best playoffs I ever watched. Although the Blue Jays, both of their World Series were fantastic too.
Would Trotz in Vancouver make sense?
I don't know how much different Trotz would be than Boudreau, other than it would stifle Pedersen's numbers. I don't know that would work. I think that short term you'd probably see a bump. I don't know that it would work long term.
From Japan, appreciate the TEG video on aging. I'll always remember the Taxi episode where Jim plays the piano. Let's go Bruins.
Taxi, Jim was really the best. Jim Ignatowski, one of the greatest characters in history.
Now that Ovechkin hit 802, how long till he ties Gretzky, and does he pass him in the same game?
It wouldn't surprise me if he passes him in the same game. It's going to be about 2 years. About 2 years from now, barring any kind of shutdown of the league or lockout or anything, which isn't going to happen.
Or injuries.
Next 2 years, or injuries. But Ovi's been pretty good at staying healthy. Barring injury, it should be 2 years. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a hat trick in the game that he does it.
Does Sharon ever dress up as the Grinch? I don't know anybody named Sharon.
I know somebody named Sharon.
Do you? I don't think I know any.
She kind of had Grinch-like qualities here and there, but then
I don't know Sharon, so I'm not sure.
She got out of the position she was in, and her Grinch-like qualities were
there you go.
After that,
there's your answer. How many goals do you think Crosby would have if he hadn't struggled with concussion throughout his career? Do you think any current starts?
Probably Stars player.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to read ahead. Stars player could get the jersey retired after they retire.
Jason Robertson absolutely looks like a guy who's going to get his number retired. by Dallas at some point. Rope Hens too. Maybe Heiskanen, maybe Ottinger. As for how many goals Crosby would have gotten, I'm going to guess he probably lost out on 60, maybe 100, but I'll say 60. Crosby's been a good goal scorer and an elite producer, but he was never in that same categories like an Ovechkin. He does have a Rocket Richard, but he has just the one. And so he probably missed out on both 60, maybe 70 goals.
And of course, we have an open McDonald's by us. We have a lot of open stuff here. Not everybody celebrates Christmas.
No.
Not everybody here celebrates Christmas. No. A lot of things are open here. We actually had mail delivered. Well, a parcel, not Canada Post, but we had mail delivered today, which I was a bit surprised. But
is it for me?
It is a stat holiday. It was not for you.
Oh. Well, what's the point of saying there was mail if it's not for me?
I'm just pointing out. There's a lot of things are open here today.
I never get anything.
Merry Christmas. Happy Boxing Day to both of you. Yeah, that's not true.
No, that's not true. Come here, Shadow. I know what he wants.
I do see questions asking what we've got for Christmas. Today, we are not doing Christmas today.
Nope.
Today is not our Christmas. We have not done any presents. I went to Christmas church because it's today, but it is not our Christmas day. Our daughter is with her dad this year. She comes home on Boxing Day, so we will do Christmas the day after. So there you go. We haven't done Christmas. We haven't opened any presents.
Nope.
Nothing. Makar at 9.5 is a steal compared to McAvoy Nurse.
I wouldn't put McAvoy and Nurse in the same category. McAvoy is a top 10 defenseman in the NHL. Makar is still, I would think, the best defenseman in the NHL right now. I would have Hedman's probably still second on my list, but McAvoy would be top 10. Nurse, it's a rough contract, and I don't think he's as bad as some people think, but yeah, that contract, it's already not aging well.
I love your jerseys this time of year. The ones you're wearing, the Doctor Who jersey, etc. Have all been amazing as your videos are. They
released a trailer today for the new Doctor Who with Donna and the David Tennant.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Donna's mother's in front of him like this. And she's like, "Who's that man behind you?" And it's the Doctor. She's like, "You don't see him. He's not there." Because remember, if Donna remembers, then her brain.
Right.
So
Donna's
I'm excited about that. So they've still got that storyline.
I really like.
There's all these alien creatures, and they look like back in the Tennant era. So they've gone back to that. And the music's Marie Gold again, who did all the music during David Tennant. And guess what he said during the trailer?
What?
L-A-Z.
That's fun.
That's going to be great. I'm so glad Doctor Who's back.
That's great. Are we at the point of the season where every game matters?
No. The game the other night between Chicago and Columbus, not really a game of mattering. The good news is that because there are so many teams now that are falling out of the race, when there are a bunch of games on, there are games that I don't have to pay as much attention to because I know it's not going to be a game of great consequence. So the games matter more for those teams that are in the playoffs, but we're also seeing teams that are out of the hunt. And so, yeah, there are some games that don't matter either.
Have you considered ever working under TSN or Sportsnet if the offer arrives?
They both work out of Toronto, so that'd be a difficult one to make work. Generally, TSN and Sportsnet have both they still have regional coverage, but not like it used to be. And I don't think it'll go back to that because of costs. It's all been about cutting costs. So I don't think I'll ever get a call from either. I'm really perfectly fine with not getting a call from either. To be honest, I'm happy being a YouTuber, doing the occasional podcast here and there because that makes 90 cents a month. So cha-ching. But I'm happy where I am, and I mean, if I got an offer, I'd consider it. But I'm not concerned about it or looking for that.
Oh, Mighty, I made myself a London fog today, so fancy.
You do get kind of foggy, so that makes some sense.
You're a dork.
Thank you.
Are you surprised how good Boston is playing?
Yes. I mean, Boston, good team. I had expected them to struggle out of the gate with the injuries. They did not. Their home record is 18-0-2. That's ridiculous. I don't know how they're doing it. There's games they win that, I mean, that game against the Jets, they were down early, and I thought, well, if they lose this one, that's okay. And nope, they came back and won. And just once that momentum turns in their favor, they're kind of unstoppable. I don't know how far it's going to go, but yeah, I'm very surprised at just how dominant they've been.
How many goals can you see Cole Caulfield get this year?
He could hit 40. I would say he could hit 40. He has the talent to be a 50-goal scorer in the future in the NHL. I could see him hitting 40.
You going to TSN is like Gretzky going to the Kings. That would be really different. I think that would really limit the number of videos and what videos you would do.
Yeah, I don't think it would work either because I'm not in Toronto. I can't be in the studio.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it would work.
In your opinion, which Slovak players were best?
Palfi, Bondra, I think Bondra was Slovakian too. I mean, right now, the Slovakian crop you've got coming, led by Slavkovsky, may end up being the best crop of young players that they've ever had. Gaborik Slovakian too. Like, it's just because it's one of those things where when I was growing up, of course, it was Czechoslovakia. So there's that part of me that I hear certain names and I think, oh, he sounds Czech, but it actually turns out they're Slovakian. So yeah, I'll go with those answers.
Flames hosting the Oilers on Tuesday night matters.
And it's the last time they play each other this year.
Oh, already?
Yep. I don't get it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep.
Does Ovi break the goals record?
Yes. It'll be in a couple years, but yes.
Lars is linking videos.
Yeah, Lars is very good for that. That's why I doubled his pay this month. Wasn't easy. I had to move money around in the budget, but Lars, you're worth every penny. I doubled your pay.
Such a dork. Okay. Shannon and Yvonne, you two have kept me sane through the last few years. This winter is extra tough for me. At the lowest point in my life, I'm just so thankful for your content and your hard work.
Been there. Definitely been there. Yeah, that's one thing that we like to do the live stream on Christmas for us, because we know not everybody's having a great Christmas. We both had crappy Christmases.
True.
So we know how that feels to when December 25th rolls around, say, can this just be over already? That'd be great. And then you go into New Year's, where if you're single, there's something wrong with you. It's like you got 6 heads. And then Valentine's Day comes up 6 weeks after that. Like, you still don't have somebody. It's great. These three together.
Cared about Valentine's Day. That one never bothered me.
Yeah, it's just all the commercials all the time. It's like, seriously? Yeah, I get it. I don't have anybody. Let's move on and talk about something else. Great.
Do you ever go back through old trade deadline videos or others like it and see how much the NHL has changed?
Not through videos. I've done. I mean, I regularly look through articles, various hockey stat sites here and there to go through old trades and things that have taken place. And, when I'm looking for what I want to do videos on, there's stuff in there that I can talk about. But I don't know how much it's changed, but with the flat salary cap, it's definitely made everything more of a challenge for general managers.
TEG album review. Yvonne needs to experience Dirt by Alice in Chains and any Nirvana album for Shannon.
That's a no.
Oh, Shannon.
I'm the only person on planet Earth that the song Come As You Are by Nirvana makes me rage. It has made me rage for over 30 years, and it still does, because it makes no bloody sense. And anybody writing that song is psychotic. Because if I invite somebody over to hang out with me, I don't need to throw in, and I swear I don't have a gun. Because if somebody invites you to their house, they're saying, come over, come as you are, and I don't have a gun, they have a gun. And if they're telling you and clarifying they don't have one, they're planning to use it. So don't go over to their house. I don't understand that song at all. I remember the first time I heard him, like, did he say don't have a, why would he need to clarify that he doesn't have a gun? I don't need to clarify that in my everyday speech because I don't have one. So I don't need to say it. People who say it have one.
Okay.
Don't get me started on Smells Like Teen Spirit either.
How is Suzuki doing as the Habs' youngest captain?
Suzuki's been fantastic. So for Montreal, this season's been ebbs and flows, and they lose more than they win in recent months. But Suzuki and Caulfield just have this amazing chemistry together, and they have since Marty St. Louis was hired as coach. And it's great to watch. So no matter what happens with Montreal from here, Suzuki, the guy is a star. Like, he's been excellent, and his two-way game has picked up this year, because I know there's been a lot of complaints about me praising his two-way game. It's better this year, and I was already impressed with it before this year.
Peter Stastny is Slovak, for your information. Is that the answer?
Stastny, the interesting thing with him is if the brothers had all come over earlier, I think they'd be more highly regarded in NHL history. The story of how they got out of Czechoslovakia, which is why I think of them as Czech. The story of how they got out is really quite something. How they had to get out through the cover of darkness, basically, because they weren't allowed to leave on their own. Peter Stastny is a remarkable player that if he'd played his entire career in the NHL, he would get mentioned more as one of the greatest of all time.
Do you think hockey should be on Christmas?
No.
There's
enough sports on Christmas Day.
Every once in a while.
There's enough sports on Christmas Day. I could see at some point maybe a heritage game or an outdoor game, but it would have to be something really different and special. Outside of that, you give them the 3 days off.
Playing game concept. Please help me understand.
The play-in idea is not one that I support. So the idea that teams 7 and 8 in the conference would play teams 9 and 10 in the conference for the right to make the playoffs. I am of the mind that the top 8 teams make the playoffs, and that should be it. So the idea that you would have a play-in where a team that finished 10th would end up knocking out a team that finished 7th, I don't like that idea. I think that it kind of waters down the regular season a bit. It would also hurt. I think it would hurt the trade deadline, because you're going to have fewer sellers and more buyers. And I don't think that would work. Hi, Shadow. Yeah, I already picked you up.
How do the Flames get going? A Stanley Cup favorite shouldn't be going to overtime against the Ducks with that roster. Admire your dedication. Keep it up.
So with the game against the Ducks the other night, I'm of the same mind that it shouldn't have taken until overtime. But Dostal was fantastic in that game. Plus, because they did outshoot him 23-1 in the second period. Plus, that was the 4th game that they had played in 6 nights. So I'm willing to give them a bit of a break on that. They did win 3 out of 4 on that road trip. They got 7 points out of a possible 8. I don't know about them being a cup favorite. I think that Vegas was always ahead of them in the odds to win a Stanley Cup and the odds to finish first in the division. But they should be a playoff team. The good news is that their schedule from here is more team friendly. And so I think they do end up making the playoffs. I don't know about being a cup favorite, but they should make the playoffs. And then from there, all bets are off, because we've seen underdogs win in the playoffs before.
On behalf of all Lightning fans, please don't make any more videos about our success unless we win a cup.
The videos I've made this year generally have not had any kind of relation to how the team's done after. Recently, there's been a couple of exceptions, but generally that hasn't been a problem. And I try to report on as many teams as possible, and it's fun to talk about a team that's doing well. The funny thing is, the videos will always get more views if it's about a team that's doing badly, because we much more enjoy the car wreck than we enjoy just watching traffic and seeing things go well. The car wreck will always get more attention.
Soundgarden or Pearl Jam?
That's a tough one.
Nope. My answer's no.
Early, it would be Pearl Jam for me. So like 10 verses. I have both those albums. Soundgarden towards the end. I thought of the two, I thought Soundgarden towards the end of their time were quite good. And honestly, between the two bands, Black is my favorite from Pearl Jam. That song's fantastic. And Burden in the Hand is one of the greatest songs ever from Soundgarden. That song's absolutely amazing. And yet they only play Black Hole Sun. Seems to be the one that gets played all the time. I don't understand, because Burden in the Hand to me is a more fun song. I like it better. So I have to put my hand on the cat, or else he just keeps pawing me. So I have to have my hand on him so he'll stop.
Pavel Buchnevich has to be in the conversation for best value contract. His points per game play, his defense, his power play.
Quarterback.
And what's that?
Shorthanded.
Oh, I don't know that I've ever seen that one. Okay, play are fantastic. What is that for?
For you being good. Yes, Buchnevich has been fantastic. If he can keep this up over a full season, it is one of the best bargain contracts in the NHL. Makes a big difference to St. Louis's attack when he's in the lineup as opposed to not.
I always pronounce the guy in the hockey guy like guy in Lafleur. So Guy, the hockey Guy.
Don't tell your mother that.
My mom would love that.
Your mother
My
would
mom
absolutely
calls
do that.
one of our boys Guy, like Guy Lafleur, and the other one is Gordy, like Gordie Howe. Yeah, that. But that's my mom. I'm actually surprised I haven't seen her on here yet because she's not doing much today either. I don't think. Maybe she went to her sister's house. So, is it time for Bees fans to lay off Sweeney now?
No. I think that the Bruins have had a remarkable run, but Sweeney's definitely had some missteps. Sweeney's definitely made some mistakes along the way. There you go, Shadow. I'll shake your paw. But I don't think you necessarily lay off Sweeney at this point. I don't think that he's done anything worthy of being fired either, though. Boston's an interesting team that I think they've succeeded in some ways despite themselves. But yeah, I don't think you necessarily can't criticize Sweeney on some of the moves he's made because of the team's record.
Lars is right. Shannon's a dork. Agreed.
No, I'm not.
Lars said so, and Lars is always right. So.
Well, now I'll have to have his pay.
Merry Christmas to you and your family. Do you think the Canes should go get a depth defenseman or bottom six scoring at the deadline?
Defensemen are always handy to pick up. I would be very surprised if Carolina doesn't pick up a defenseman. And then depth scoring, you always need that too. So I would think for the Canes, it'll be more of a probably a rental with your bottom six forward, probably a rental on the blue line too. I don't think a lot needs to be done with the Carolina Hurricanes. They're playing really well. You don't want to mess that up. So yeah, just depth pieces and go from there.
Your favorite Rammstein song, Merry Christmas to You.
It has been Mein Teil for so long, but honestly, it has to be Deutschland now. Deutschland has just become, and I mean, having seen that one twice live, and now I've seen Mein Teil 3 times live. So if I really think about it, I do think Deutschland is like, I got all excited both times that it came on when we were at the concert.
Yeah, you got excited when every song came on. So,
well, yeah.
I don't know which one my favorite. I have a lot of favorites. I really like Rosenrot.
Rosenrot, yep.
I like Papa.
Papa's fantastic.
Yes, that one's really fun.
Mein Herzbrennt.
That I do really like Mein Herzbrennt. That's probably my very favorite one.
I think it is too.
I think
it is too. When you saw that one live twice.
Probably the one I have listened to the most times.
I remember when Hellboy 2 came out and in the trailer they had Mein Herzbrennt playing. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, Mein Herzbrennt totally suits a Hellboy movie. It wasn't in the movie.
Oh, maybe they didn't want to pay that much. They only
watched the whole movie and I was like,
commercial.
Wait, Mein Herzbrennt isn't in this movie. You guys just shut
false
up.
Advertising.
You guys just shut up with your trailers and you're like, I couldn't understand that. How could you have the whole trailer? It's Mein Herzbrennt. Like, this is awesome for an action movie. This would be great. Nope, didn't show up in the movie at all. Stupid Hellboy 2.
How did you become a fan of German rock?
Scorpions. So there's two things.
Not me. That's definitely.
I was a big fan of Scorpions, and then it was Berlin after that. I was a big fan of Berlin, and I kept up with European music. There was a lot of Much Music had an international show, and so I would watch some German stuff on that. And Nena, who sang 99 Luftballon or 99 Red Balloons, it sounds much better in German than in English, though. I heard a bunch of songs from Nena on Much Music that weren't hits over here. I'm like, she's fantastic. I thought she just had the one song. And then there was the fact that my grandfather, when I was a kid, he was learning German. He had like reel-to-reels of German, and he'd learned German. He was learning, and I had a lot of friends in school who'd had their parents stationed in Germany, so their German was okay. So I was always sort of adjacent to German stuff, and I liked German stuff. I like that the language always sounded like angry.
It does.
It just always sounds really very angry, and I think that's great. because I can be angry at times too. So it works. And Rammstein, the first time I heard Du Hast, I was in love. That was it. It's like I remember I was in my apartment. I was just, going about my business, and it was the top 30 countdown on Much Music. And this song came on. I was like, what is this? And I went back to and then it was when they would show the same thing over and over again. So you knew what time that video was coming back. And I'd be like, okay, so Du Hast is coming up again. And it was one of those things where I had to tell everybody, like, have you heard this band Rammstein? And then I got the album Sehnsucht, and yeah.
For me, it was just I heard Du Hast on the radio, and so I went and bought the album because I really liked it. And then I really liked the album.
Yeah,
and
I
had other albums after that.
The video for Du Hast was so dark.
It was kind of funny when we met because we both listened to it, and we picked up your son in my van, and I had my one of my Rammstein CDs in the van, and he was really surprised. He thought it was Shannon's CD. I'm like, no, I have my own.
Yeah, I think it was Mutter.
What? Other people listen to this too? Yeah.
Even Mutter. Mutter's this nice, sweet sounding song, and yet it's about murdering your mother. So you're like, this is really nice, and it's called Mother. I should dedicate it. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't.
Okay. Oh, I think I missed. No, hold on.
What did you do?
Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Who would the Bees go after at the deadline, and how would they go about it? Cap stuff. I don't know if Kane is needed, but had been rumored, I believe.
Kane's been rumored going numerous places. The one that makes the most sense for Kane is the New York Rangers. He loved playing with Panarin. The Rangers would love to get Kane and have two really good scoring lines. For Boston, I don't think a dramatic move is going to be made, especially with the record they have. You don't want to mess with that chemistry. It'll be similar to what I said about the Canes. Pick up some depth on the blue line, some depth up front, and go from there.
Have you guys heard Johnny Cash's version of If You Could Read My Mind, Love, written by Gordon Lightfoot?
Yes, I've heard that before. Johnny Cash is fantastic, so everything he touches is gold.
Oh, do you know the Finnish band Nightwish?
Nightwish is fantastic. The debate over which singer is the best is really important too, because I think if they have 4 lead singers or 3. Is it 3 or 4?
I don't know, actually.
Tarja is widely regarded as still being the best. The second one didn't last very long. I think they've had 3.
I think that's Panthers. Panthers be sellers at the trade deadline.
I'm going to guess yes. I'm going to guess surprisingly yes. They're pretty far below the playoff line, and the odds of them making it are slim. So this is a team that's gone in the wrong direction fast. I think they'll be sellers at the deadline.
In an alternate universe where you are the basketball guy instead of the hockey guy, which 3 teams would you cheer for? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Golden State Warriors, because I always liked Golden State Warriors, because at the time I started watching football or watching basketball, they were terrible. The Memphis Grizzlies, because the Vancouver connection there, and the Boston Celtics, because Boston, of course.
How was Violent Night?
We haven't watched it yet.
There was a Canadian Bake Off episode, a British Bake Off episode, and the cake. What's the cake one called?
Cross country cake challenge.
The one with Mary Berg on it.
Yeah, cross country cake challenge.
And that's all Christmas, so we haven't got to it yet.
And we've only watched the first episode of the bake challenge, the cake challenge,
the
Cross Canada cake
Mary
challenge.
Berg cake competition show. Olympic Team Canada goalie situation.
Now, as far as the Olympics go, we'll see if the NHL goes back in 2026. They want to, and I know that the players want to go. I'm not really worried about Canada's goaltending. I know that in terms of countries in the world, it feels like Canada's fallen behind, but it feels like when we get to big tournaments, Canadian goaltenders really step it up. So, I mean, there aren't as many fantastic options for Canada as there are for the States, but we're also still a few years out from that. So I wouldn't want to speculate right now on what might happen in 3 years.
Is Justin Williams Hall of Fame? Also, Merry Christmas.
Not Hall of Fame, but number retirement should be a thing for him. I would think maybe with LA as well as with Carolina. great player, a guy who comes up in big games. I think with Justin Williams, I think it's similar to the Paul Henderson argument as to why Henderson's not in the Hall of Fame. He scored big goals in big games, important player, but he didn't have that elite career that would lead to the Hall of Fame. So Williams probably not Hall of Fame.
Have you guys watched Breaking Bad? Nope. Just started it the other day after many recommendations. Great so far.
Oh, we're finally caught up on Bar Rescue though.
This show's so ridiculous.
We've almost watched every episode, so I want to see John Taffer as Santa Claus in a movie.
He's so ridiculous.
I'd like to see a Santa Claus that comes into a house and just starts yelling and screaming about how dirty the house is and breaking stuff.
Throws food on the ground and then tells him, clean it up.
These are cookies. These are
if you don't kick that person out of your house, I'm not coming back.
You call this milk smash? Santa's screaming.
Silly.
Why is Santa so angry?
Have you watched the new Willow series? Not yet.
We're going to.
We will. I love Willow.
I almost started it the other night, but you were already really tired, and I thought,
yeah. I really like Willow. So
because she just passes out.
I do.
Like for me, it takes me 15, 20 minutes to go to sleep. For her, it's just head hits the pillow, and it's like those dolls that their eyes just close. She's like that.
I do fall asleep ridiculously quick. It's irritating.
She's like a toddler too. She'll argue with me where I'm like, okay, so you're passing out. No, I'm not. Okay, well, your eyes are closed. So that tells me you're probably not watching through your eyelids. So
anyways.
It's a funny argument though, because you're watching through your eyelids. Sure you are, while you're snoring.
Did your Vegas I don't snore.
When you're sitting up, you sometimes
and I'm sitting up. That could be. Did your Vegas reverse retro have the patch a little bubbly?
No.
I don't think so. Because that's one of those things that we look to see if the reverse retros were bubbly like the new Adidas, which I find irritating. But I didn't notice. There was one that I did see that it was a little bubbly. Which one was that? Yeah, it doesn't look bubbly. Nope. But this one, the logo's so small comparatively.
Yeah,
there was one. The bigger ones are more likely to bubble. And I'm trying to remember, there is one reverse retro that was bubbly as soon as we got it. And I think that's irritating.
Was it Boston? Was it the Bear?
I don't think it's Boston.
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's one of the bigger ones. Might be like Nashville or something. Oh, man. My eye is watering like crazy.
Well, if it's Nashville, it's because the meth tiger's trying to jump off the jersey.
That room is just hockey paradise. This is a lot of hockey. There's a lot of hockey in this room.
Yeah. There's a ton.
Yes. John Taffer is a really nice guy in person. I felt that before that he can't possibly be like he is on the show.
I have no doubt.
Nobody would want to be around him.
There's a lot of stuff that I see and I'll say to her, now, if the cameras weren't on, they would handle this differently. But because cameras are on, and there's drama, and that's what drives ratings.
As the seasons go on, he gets yellier and yellier.
More over the top.
It's like he's turning into Gordon Ramsay.
Like the early episodes of Bar Rescue, you can see that they're trying to fix things. You can see what they're doing. You can see all the renovations. You can see it all happening. The newer ones, it's more about the drama, look what these people are doing. Look at this person who's falling down drunk in the parking lot.
Yelling
it gets more into the sensational
in
side.
In front of the customers.
Yes. So it gets more into that. And you can see that people are there because they know that the crew's there. And they're viewers of the show and they're so happy to see him. Like there's a couple episodes we've seen where everybody cheers when he comes in the door. Yeah. Like he's Norm on Cheers. And so it's definitely morphed into something else.
Just want to say, love your content, Shannon. The amount of passion you have and effort you put into your videos is awesome. You are awesome. He is awesome, isn't he?
Okay, let's not encourage
Shannon's amazing. I don't know if you guys know this.
At least I can do is videos on the daily for people. I figured that's the very least that I can do. So, and then when if I tried taking a day off, I would just be really twitchy all day.
He would be trying to figure out what to do.
I'd be bothering her while she's sewing. Like, what are you doing? What's going on in here? How's it going? Sewing stuff, huh?
Yeah, he's pretty awesome for sure.
What kind of stitch is that? What kind of stitch is that? What did you do with that?
He would.
Can I look through all your fabric?
We have not had Christmas dinner. We are not doing Christmas today. For us, this is not Christmas Day. I told the kids today is our Christmas Adam.
It's a dad joke she made up. Because tomorrow is our Christmas Eve.
Because Adam comes before Eve. See, I'm so clever. The boys thought it was funny. But no, this isn't our Christmas. Adelaide is with her dad this year. Yeah. She comes home on Boxing Day. Yeah. So we have it the day after.
So next Christmas, when I want to go to Vegas, we'd have to take Adelaide with us.
Are we just leaving the boys at home to fend for themselves and hopefully not burn the house down?
We can get the boys to their grandparents. We can get the boys to... There's various shelters locally that they could stay in if we can't find anywhere. A couple $100.
Oh, Shannon.
That kind of thing. The cats can watch the house.
They would be crying so much all day long. All 5 of them would just be crying.
Oh my gosh. So Azriel now is 8 months old. She has started doing what Bear does, that if I go upstairs, she'll sit down here and cry. Because I hear her crying. I was like, Bear, knock it off. Come here, Bear. And then Azriel comes around the corner. What would you like? Oh my gosh, Azriel does the same thing Bear does. Oh no. We have got 4 out of 5 cats that will just cry in random parts of the house, and we have to call them. Maple's the only one that doesn't do it.
Yeah, because Maple is so much like Lily Bell. Lily Bell also did not meow. Maple does not meow. She can. She really doesn't.
Because her sister does all the meowing for them.
The other 4 are a whole bunch of whiny cats.
She's like, well, Azriel's got this handled.
I'm all by myself in this room.
Yeah, she just starts crying. She gets upset if she wakes up and I'm not in here.
Myself.
So she'll be sleeping in here, and then I go do something, and then she comes running out like, where did you go?
They're like dogs.
I woke up and you were gone.
I didn't know if you'd ever come back. I hate the term ice hockey. Should I just chill?
It's called ice hockey because I believe that field hockey was first. I think field hockey was developed as a sport first, and ice hockey came in after. And you have to have that differentiation between ice hockey and field hockey, or else you'd say, well, I was playing hockey. And somebody somewhere would not necessarily know that you mean ice hockey or field hockey. So, but I think field hockey was created first, which is not an easy sport. There were guys in my school that were all like, oh, look at these girls playing field hockey. It looks easy. And then they tried and they're like, that's really hard. That's not the same as a hockey stick at all. And it's like, well, of course it's not. It's this tiny little, it's like, they're brutal. They hit each other with those things. Well, of course they do.
Should I expose the Vegas reverse retro to light to see it glow? It glows really well.
It does.
It glows really well. It doesn't have to be really, really dark to see that tiny line.
Nope.
They did a good job getting that to glow really well. So yeah, it's fun. Yvonne, do you do most or all of the cooking around there? I do. I don't know if you guys know this. Shannon's kind of a busy guy. So I do a lot of the cooking, and I like to cook most of the time.
I did a lot of cooking.
Sometimes the kids are obnoxious and I don't feel like cooking for them.
I did enough cooking.
I did so much Christmas baking.
I told her she's good. I told her a few days ago, I'm looking at all of these containers filled with baked goods. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's enough. And she said,
I haven't finished. I still have to make the cherry cake. And I need to make dessert for Christmas dinner, which I think I'll make a Yule log.
We have fudge, we have bars, we have cakes, we have cupcakes, we have...
I didn't make any cupcakes.
You made the bundt cakes in cupcake size.
Those are gumdrop cakes.
Right.
I just made them bite-sized, so then they're easier to put in boxes and give to people.
It's ridiculous.
I don't eat them, so I make everybody else eat all of the candy.
There's so much. There's peanut brittle. Yes. She made peanut brittle. She made peanut caramel by accident.
I did not. No.
That was the peanut brittle that didn't turn out.
I turned them into cookies. I turned them into bars. The brittle didn't turn out quite right. Oh, man. So I turned it into a bar cookie.
It's insane.
They're good.
And of course, I got her baking books, so it gives her more ideas for stuff.
That the British Bake Off one, that one's an awesome book. Has some fun ones. I think maybe I'll make a Yule log for our Christmas dessert. I haven't decided yet. What do the Devils do with Severson? What teams do you see trading for him? Happy holidays.
The problem with Severson is I think Severson's good as a third pairing defenseman, but he's paid kind of high for a third pairing defenseman. If New Jersey was willing to eat some of that money, a team like Vancouver, if they were to get in the hunt, would be in the market. Vancouver needs defensemen. Severson might benefit from a move out of New Jersey as well. I could see Edmonton being in on him as well. Again, you're going to have money in, money out. But there are definitely teams in the West that need help on the blue line. The Kings will be looking for depth. I think Vegas will be looking for some depth. But again, it's about that cost. It's about that contract that might make it a little tougher. But there will be no shortage of teams if they make Severson available.
Career video for Ron Hainsey.
It's possible that I could do a Hainsey video. There are numerous careers I have not done yet that I'm going to do over the next little while here. So just stay tuned. But I do like to do journeyman videos too, because those are interesting.
Yvonne, what's Shannon's favorite meal? Burgers.
Generally, yeah. Although I do like Italian food. It's just really heavy. Like, I love spaghetti and meatballs. I like when it's the baked with the cheese on top.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just absolutely the greatest. But it gets really heavy. I have a sensitive stomach. So I much prefer a burger because I can eat that whenever and wherever. And they're easy enough to find no matter where we are in North America.
Eggnog, yes or no?
When I was a kid, I thought I loved eggnog. And at one point in time in my life, I was like, I think I just love that first sip, and then I'm kind of good, and I want to hand the cup back.
It's too thick for me.
It's at some point in time, I lost my enjoyment of eggnog and anything nog related, really.
I like the spices of eggnog, but eggnog itself is too thick.
Yeah, it's not my
no.
Irish cream though. Irish cream works at the holidays.
That's true.
Irish cream works all year round though.
Peppermint hot chocolate.
So, I mean, I don't drink, but Bailey's, I will accept a Bailey's when it's offered because it's Bailey's.
Mix eggnog 50-50 with milk. That is what I do. I do every once in a while.
That
get eggnog for the kiddos, and that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, that is more palatable because it is really, it's that texture. She has a certain texture she doesn't like. So bananas, squash, that's the face she makes, and that's it.
Eggs.
Like I was talking about banana pudding last night.
Nope.
And
I told him it's not happening. There's no way I am making banana pudding.
I want banana pudding.
I am so nice that I make banana bread every once. And that's a sacrifice on my part because bananas are nasty.
When I was a kid.
And I'm nice and I make banana bread. Banana pudding is asking way too much.
My grandmother used to make fantastic pudding, and of course, because it was homemade, you had the skin on top, and I miss that. That's one thing you don't get with the store-bought pre-made. You don't get that skin
instant
on top.
Pudding's disgusting.
It's not, but anyways,
it's gross. Instant pudding's gross.
I'm fine with it. I should get you the banana cream one. It's really good. It tastes like bananas and cream.
No, I don't like instant pudding. Homemade pudding, good. Instant pudding does not taste like pudding.
I haven't had.
I remember the first time, because you don't eat it when I make it.
If you told me you made pudding, I'd be running upstairs to get it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I had instant pudding. I thought it was so ingenious that all you had to do was mix it with milk. And then I tasted it. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. This is gross. This doesn't taste like pudding at all. Blech. I could be drinking this monster eggnog my brother makes with a lighter fluid. That might make it better. Instead of milk, just add a bunch of alcohol. I pass on that. No, custard's great.
Would Bailey's work with eggnog?
That'd be really creamy. Because Bailey's has cream in it.
Some people like it when it's really creamy.
Kate, don't stop. Shannon, don't you
start. How you doing?
Crap. Pudding without skin is not pudding, right? It's something else, and it's not yummy. No.
It's like baby food for adults at that point. It's just mush.
The eggnog experience. Oh, wow. Eggnog. Finally. I love this stuff. Let's get into the Christmas spirit. What do you mean I have to finish the whole cup?
That's what happened. I think the last time that my mom bought eggnog, it just went bad in the fridge. Because her and I both had like some of it.
What is that? A liter?
It's maybe? A liter. And we both had like some of it. And then we didn't finish. It was just.
Yeah, I think was it last year or the year before? The kids really, really wanted eggnog. So I got a couple different kinds and I let them try it. And they didn't mind one of them. They thought it was okay. But yeah.
It's the egg part, really.
Why is Yorkshire called pudding? Oh, Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, it's not pudding at all. It's puffy bread. We like Yorkshire pudding, but it's not pudding. Thank you for your Eddie Beers video.
You're
the subheading for the hockey pool I'm in, the Hoser Hockey League, is whatever happened to Eddie Beers. True Hoser.
Great hockey name though. Eddie Beers.
Yeah.
It just works. Absolutely works.
It's Hoser. Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you, as always, for what you do and helping people through lower times. It's always extremely appreciated. I hope you keep going for a while yet. Me too. I hope you keep going for a while yet, too.
As far as I can tell, I'm gonna.
On a hockey note, how do you feel the Jets should plan this season? All in?
I don't see why not. You never know when you're going to be back in this situation. This might be the last go around for this core. Yeah. I would say, yeah. Well, with contracts how they are and aging how it is, you just never know. So I would say, yeah, you go all in. I think they'll be fine at forward once guys get healthy, once they get guys like Ehlers back. I love Ehlers. And then add a defenseman or two and you're good, if they even need that. The Jets might not need to do much tinkering at the deadline.
Merry Christmas. Best case return for Blue Jackets for Gavrikov.
Gavrikov should at least fetch them a first. I'd be very surprised if there weren't teams willing to give them at least a first. And then they'd probably get another prospect on top of that. Gavrikov's a really solid defenseman for Columbus, and he's not old either. So I would think that they should be able to get a really good return on him if they made him available. And there'd be a lot of teams lining up. So I think a first rounder and a prospect is the lowest that they could expect.
Thank you for taking the time to do this live stream in general, guys.
No problem.
You're welcome. Will the Caps miss the playoffs this year?
I don't think so. If you'd asked me that a month ago, I would have said yes. Now I really don't think so. They're going to get Wilson back pretty soon. They're going to get Backstrom back pretty soon as well. They're going to get healthier. Malenstein's going to come back too. And then they should get an even better record. And right now they are at least in an odds position where they should make the playoffs.
What's your favorite jersey or logo you own ever? Team City bias aside. He has done videos on that.
My favorite logo, I really like the coat of arms from the LA Kings. My favorite jersey, so there's the purple reverse retro from Arizona. There's the black coat of arms jersey from LA. Which is absolutely fantastic. And Florida's current reverse retro is right up there for me. That's where it's going to be. So this coming summer, I want to do another countdown of the jerseys. I'm going to have to go through, of course, and figure all that out. But yeah, I those would be the three front runners right now for my favorites.
Shannon's wife. You know what? I have a name, and it's not Shannon's wife, and it's also not the hockey guy's wife.
Ivan.
Though it's not Ivan either. My name's Yvonne. So I answer to Yvonne. Yeah. But in public, I do answer to the hockey guy's wife. What was harder, deciding what area to buy something for Shannon, or finding something he didn't already have? Oh my gosh, it is so hard to get a present for Shannon.
Especially when I'm on the website buying stuff while she is.
Yes, he's so hard. And if I get him anything hockey, like I used to be able to get him jerseys. I used to get him jerseys. I can't get him jerseys. It's hard to get him hockey stuff because the likelihood of him buying it before he opens it for Christmas, I know that he has bought at least one of the things that I got for him for Christmas.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't. I wouldn't do that.
Because you don't know what I got.
No, I wouldn't do that. Kitty.
So, yeah, he's really difficult to get presents for because his whole life is hockey, yet he has all the hockey. And if he doesn't have it, he'll get it. If it's something that he wants, he'll get it because he uses it for the channel.
But
so he's really, really hard.
She's the first person I've been with that will buy me hockey related material. And so that's weird to me. So I'm kind of used to just not fending for myself isn't really, but it kind of is. I'm just kind of used to going to grab that. And then there's the fact too that very often when things sell out, they don't restock. Restocking used to be a thing. They don't seem to do that anymore. So I get really touchy about that's almost gone. There's only 2 of that left. I'd better order it because then it's just gone. Hey, kitty.
What happens to the organization after Ovi leaves?
Well, I mean, the Capitals will go through their own rebuild and retool. They've gone through that before. That's how they ended up with Ovi. I think the organization will be fine. I think it's a very strong market for the NHL, which it wasn't always, but I think it's a very strong market now. I think the organization itself will be fine, but there'll be some pain before they get back to contention, I would think.
Great shirt there. Yvonne. Thank you. Like most of my clothes, I made it. This is what I wore to church today because this is proper church attire. Malachi wore his Happy Birthday Jesus sweater to church.
Oh.
People thought it was awesome.
Okay.
Shannon got Malachi an ugly Christmas sweater that's Santa and Jesus on a roller coaster. Kids thought that was awesome. So, yep. Here's Bear. Weirdest cat ever. She's an odd cat.
She's my puppy.
She is such an odd cat.
She's my puppy.
She would do that all day if she could.
Yes. Yes, I could carry her all day. She'd be fine with that.
She would.
That wouldn't bother her at all. That's
and
why
at night
really
in bed, she sleeps right here, either doing this or doing that to me. One of the two of us. She has to be right in our face. And right there.
When we go to bed at night,
your nose.
She's right down.
She's running as
soon
as we're trying to lay down. Yep, she's
there are nights where as I lay down, she's already in my spot on the bed, and I'm like, okay, seriously,
bedtime,
I need
I'm
to
ready.
lay down. You don't need to have my spot.
She's such a weird
and that's
cat.
In the blankets. She has to be in the blankets.
Such a weird cat. She's a weird cat. Merry Christmas. Are you wearing the Wings jersey for me? He's wearing Santa.
Yeah, Santa Claus. From Geeky Jerseys, of course, because any of the jerseys I have that aren't hockey related are usually from Geeky Jerseys.
Okay, he sways and bounces her just like he was holding a baby.
She likes that.
It's a baby.
I've done that with her since she was a kitten.
She's a baby kitty.
Yeah. What?
She's a weird cat. It's the weirdest cat. She really is. She's a weird cat.
She's a kitty.
And she doesn't like anybody else. Like she likes us. That's it. If anybody comes to our house, you will not see Bear. She will be hiding, usually under our covers or in some tiny little hole that she's found. And you will never see her. But this is how she is with us.
I think she's actually asleep.
Aw, did you put her to sleep? Okay.
This is ridiculous. If she's actually asleep, that's ridiculous. That's a bridge too far for me, I think.
What do you think will happen with Horvat?
I get the feeling he's going to end up being dealt. I'm not as defeatist about it as a lot of other people because there's other money they can move around. It's not easy, though, if they decide to move out some money and a general manager knows they're going to want draft picks in return for making that cap space so they can keep Horvat. I'll be upset if the Canucks trade him, but I do think that's where it's headed.
Hockey question. Who would make a good replacement for Bertuzzi in Detroit? Highly doubt he will get re-signed after this season.
I don't know that you can replace Bertuzzi. The good news for Detroit is there are a lot of good young players coming up. I don't know that there's that mix of talent and grit, though. Soderblom has some of that, but obviously he's a lot bigger. He would help. But that's the good news is there are a lot of good young players coming up through Yzerman's development process. And losing Bertuzzi would hurt, but he gets injured a lot. So it might be better for them to move on. The same way that they have Fabry, who hasn't debuted this year. That's why St. Louis moved on from Fabry. He got injured a lot.
Most number of games Canucks get over 500 this season?
I'll say 5 or 6. I don't have faith in the team's ability to get a real streak going. I think 5 or 6 is probably the highest it would get this year.
Why are the Sabres taking so long to get the NHL defenseman they need?
I think with Buffalo, they're in the same position as a lot of other teams that they want to make moves, but it's very difficult to make trades right now. Now, Buffalo does have some cap space. It doesn't mean you want to take on a bad contract, though. So the defensemen that are probably available to them right now would be guys with rough contracts that just don't make sense long term. Buffalo has to think long term because there's a lot of young kids here that are going to want to get paid when their contracts are up. Look what's going on in Ottawa. If you add a bad contract and you end up in an Ottawa situation where everybody has to get extended, now you're in trouble. So I think I don't think there's any need to panic right now, and we'll see. We'll see with the Sabres whether or not they're able to stay in the hunt. But I like their chances, to be honest. I think there's a good chance that they'll be one of the teams that's below the playoff line, but shows a lot of improvement this year.
Shannon, what are some of your favorite hockey names? For me, Rocky Thompson is way up there. Shannon has some favorite names.
Nick Fotiu. When I was a kid, I had to have all the Nick Fotiu cards. Reijo Ristolainen from the Oilers way back in the day. Because Reijo, I mean, why wouldn't you love that? There's other hockey related names. I mean, Sharon Govich is such a good name. I love Sharon Govich. That's an awesome name. Obviously Ricola, a couple years ago was UC Ricola. I love Ricola because the commercial. I mean, there's a bunch. Bobby Brink not being on the Boston Bruins still bothers me because in that draft class I was like, come on, Boston, it's Bobby Brink of the Boston Bruins. Let's do this. And then Philly drafted him. Like,
oh,
that's
there you go. Fun. Lars linked the video. Adelaide, our daughter really likes on the Abbotsford Canucks. There's Jeff Wu, and she is always she is always looking for him. She's asking me where he is and if he's playing, and she always wants him to score so that she can yell woo with everybody else. That's her favorite.
I'm sorry I nudged the tree. You hear that?
That's a good list topic. Best name on each team.
I was going to do that. And I mean, I have time over the next couple of days. I still could.
Zarley
Zalapsky.
Lapsky.
Yeah, that's a good one. Double Z right there.
That is funny.
I haven't done a video on Zarley Zalapsky. I looked at it at one point and then got distracted and did a career video on someone else instead.
Bob Beers for Bruins.
Yep.
No hockey games until Tuesday. Yep. Does Abbotsford pack the house for AHL games? Yeah. Yes. It's pretty full.
Yeah. Yeah. And I knew it would be.
Except for the snowstorm. That was weirdly empty, but understandable because all the people could drive from Vancouver. But
the first time that Abbotsford had a team, it was the Heat. And the problem with that is it's Calgary's prospects. So it's now you've got prospects. Jarkko Ruutu is another one. We used to play Marco Polo at my old job, but it'd be Jarkko Ruutu instead. So we would just get bored and somebody yell Jarkko Ruutu, and it worked. It worked as a Marco Polo thing. But yeah, the Heat obviously didn't work because Calgary.
Shaitan not playing for the Devils. Shannon really, really wanted that to happen too.
I did a video on him too a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Fun. I don't watch Shannon's videos, so
you really don't.
I really, really don't.
I don't need to be carrying.
I monitor the comments, so a lot of times I know what the video is about, but I don't watch his videos. I hear him talk enough as it is.
I just carried your sister. I don't need to carry you again.
Are you guys having a weird start to the winter that usually doesn't happen? We sure are. If you don't believe in global warming, come here, because our summers are weird, our winters are weird, our weather has just gone ridiculous for past 3 years?
Yeah.
It's gone crazy. Yeah, our temperature has gone up 20 degrees in 2 days.
We went from forest fires to ice cold in a couple of weeks this year.
Yeah, it was, oh wait, it's supposed to be cold now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was ridiculous how quickly it changed.
Yeah.
Just the extremes. There's just more extremes now.
And it gets hotter in the summer than I ever remember it being.
No, it
was then in winter, we keep having these really cold like for a short amount of time, but way colder than we ever have. Our houses aren't built for hot or cold.
Nope.
So it's difficult just because our houses we don't have the kind of insulation for that kind of weather. And I know the rest of Canada makes fun of us, but our houses aren't built for this. Our vehicles, we don't have to have winter tires here. We have all weather tires. We don't have like the number of plows. This is ridiculous.
Oh, no, we don't have the budget for that either.
No, because we don't normally have that kind of weather. It's very, very unusual for us. I have a not so sneaking suspicion Dumba will be moved at the deadline. How's the current market for right shot defensemen?
Right shot defensemen are always in demand. Dumba's been attached to trade rumors for years, at least 3 years that I can remember rumors being reported on Dumba. He is a puck-moving defenseman. He would be a popular target. The question, again, comes down to, with half the league at the cap, how do you make it work money-wise?
There were people in Ontario who had to sleep overnight at a Walmart because the roads were too dangerous for them to drive.
Yep.
We had people stuck on the highway here overnight because the roads were impassable. It was a lot of people were stuck.
Yeah.
And couldn't go anywhere.
And then there was YVR. They had a bunch of planes that were just stuck on the tarmac.
Everywhere had that. But yeah, it was really bad.
But like, why let them taxi out and then sit them there? And then they just cancel the flight anyways. It's just we were on the tarmac for what, an hour that one time, and that was miserable.
Awful. Yes.
And these people were out for hours during a snowstorm.
Yep, that would be awful. What are your thoughts on the Hurricanes this year? I think adding Bo Horvat, hopefully, will seal the deal. Merry Christmas.
If you added Horvat to that team, that would be absolutely insane. The Canes are in good shape. They are the best team in the division. The one question I have with Carolina is, will they be given the kind of freedom to really play that strong offensive game that I think is their wheelhouse? The last playoffs, it felt like that next year wasn't there when it should have been. And I keep waiting for this explosive offense with Carolina. As long as they're freed up to play that offensive style a little bit more, I like Carolina's chances of winning the whole thing.
If Bob Beers for Boston works, did Craig Conroy for Calgary work?
Yeah.
It's just not quite as fun of an alliteration.
But... And I don't think that Vancouver has any alliteration on theirs. I can't remember anybody that's got like a V first and last name that would have played for them.
That would be fun though. V names are not very common. I know, because I have a middle name that's a V, and you can't ever find V stuff. And when you make like bead jewelry when you're little, you don't get a V very often. It's a problem. I know, right?
Poor thing.
And Zeds. I also have a Z middle name. My middle initials are V and Z, with the first initial of a Y. I didn't have very much luck with the bead jewelry.
Everything with my name on it.
I'd run out of
N's
so fast. All the N's. My name has so many N's.
Anything with a name on it was always pink when I was a kid. And I was like, well, that's got my name on it, but it's for
my
girl.
Name's not on stuff. There's no Yvonne.
No,
stuff.
I looked for Christmas this year. I thought, can I find her some really fun stuff with her name on it? And the answer is no. Anything fun with your name on it, you already have it. And so
this looks so tiny.
I looked. I
feel
tried.
Like a subscriber found an ashtray that said Yvonne's butts, but then he put a little label maker and put buttons. I have that on my sewing table. I use it every day. Yep. I love my little ashtray. I use it to either put my cup on, or I put my little things that I'm using for sewing.
True.
That's fun. Do the Isles have a chance at making the playoffs?
Yes. For the Islanders, the trouble the Islanders have is they're in the Metro, which is fantastic. There's going to be a team that misses the playoffs in the Metro who probably shouldn't. The Islanders do have a chance. It's going to be the Rangers and the Caps, I would think, that they're trying to push out. Although the models indicate that Pittsburgh's schedule gets a lot tougher, so maybe it's Pittsburgh. But yeah, the Islanders absolutely have a chance.
I am definitely not a little bit drunk. I don't really drink. I'm not drinking. I have a lovely tea here. It's a London Fog. It's really good. It's kind of cold now, but it's good.
Yeah, we're kind of boring that way. We don't drink.
I really don't drink.
No.
If I did, I certainly wouldn't be on camera. No. So, nope. We do get accused of being drunk fairly often, though.
Oh, I see that in
Just
comments.
because
It was
we're
like, oh, you
goofy.
can tell he's had a drink.
Always.
What?
People are always
Why would
assuming that we've been drinking. I don't know why. Maybe people are just boring.
I really don't drink.
No, we really don't.
Oh, people are definitely boring.
Someone tweeted, it's 15 degrees warmer in my fridge than outside my window. -40, baby.
When we had the Arctic outflows, I was taking soda out of the fridge and setting it in here overnight for the morning because I knew it would actually be colder in here than in the fridge.
We lost some sparkling cider. I put sparkling cider outside for Christmas dinner. Then it's not taking up space, and 2 of them froze enough that they broke.
Yeah.
So
in
I
here, it
lost
was
2
4
bottles.
degrees. It was 4 degrees in here one morning the last week. So when I was doing videos, it was 9 degrees, sometimes 10. Really, really chilly. Quite chilly in here.
We've got ice on the inside of our windows.
Yeah.
Nasty cold snap in Florida, too. Had to put up the convertible top on my Jeep today. Merry Christmas, guys.
We don't see very many convertibles here.
Because you get to use it for 2 months of the year.
Yeah.
Your hard work does not go unnoticed. And if you don't have a covered area, it would mold. Everything molds here.
True.
Everything molds.
True. Well, they have that phrase in BC, you don't tan, you rust.
Yeah. Everything.
Yep.
It's very, very humid here.
Yep.
Is McDonald's any different in BC than other Canadian locales?
Not that I've seen.
I think they're the same. It's
Pretty
very
sure
different
it's the
than
same.
American McDonald's, but I think all Canadians
But like
are the same.
I'm pretty sure the one I
It's
was
the
in
same-
Edmonton, I had
the same
50s.
distributor.
It's the
Like
same.
all of them, the meat comes from Alberta.
Yeah, it should all be the same.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
A&W is the same across Canada.
It's just different in other countries.
There's
but
some
Canada
chains that are
wide.
more prominent in one location of the country than in the other, but like Harvey's, there's one Harvey's in BC, I think. And
Yeah, we
that's
looked it
in
up once.
Surrey.
No, isn't it in
Or
Coquitlam?
Coquitlam, yeah.
Carolina needs a proven playoff power play goal scorer. Who would you try to get? Go Canes.
Power play goal scorer. If St. Louis falls out of contention, and I don't know how you'd make the money work, there's Tarasenko. Tarasenko's on an expiring contract. It's a $7.5 million cap hit. But power play goals, he just has the one this season. But I think with a change of scenery, I think he could score some big power play goals, and he might have really good chemistry with the Canes.
Her monogram is a Canadian airport code. It is. Yeah, I always thought that was really funny when I was little, that I'm almost the Vancouver airport. I thought it was funny. Because,
well, what's the code for Abbotsford
to...
Airport? YVX, isn't it?
Something like that.
I think it's YVX.
That sounds right.
So yeah, you're an airport.
I'm close. Yeah. Is there a YVZ somewhere?
Probably. I'll bet you it's Kelowna.
Oh.
I'll bet you it's...
I don't get somewhere cool. No offense to Kelowna.
No.
I just know it's cold or hot and dry. Pass.
Message retracted, but thank you.
Hey, no, it's right here. Hey, Shannon, just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate your hard work and great content.
Thank you.
For my question, who would you like to see the Islanders add? Deer Lake, Ontario. That's better than Kelowna.
With their
there we go. See, that's fun.
With their injury issues, I would say that they could add on the blue line. I mean, they could add a scoring forward. With the Islanders scoring, I think is an issue when you look at the rest of the division. And again, you might be looking at some rentals like a Tarasenko, like an O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly would fit in really well with the Islanders, but it's a matter of making the money work. But O'Reilly's the kind of guy that I could see Lamoriello bringing in and then signing to an extension because he's of that certain age. Lamoriello seems to prefer the veterans, and that could work. But the Islanders are going to be an interesting one to watch if they stay in the hunt.
Did I miss a super chat? Hold on, I'm checking. Yeah. Did I did that one, right?
You did.
Oh, here we go. Happy holidays, the guy and Yvonne. That's, my name has been slaughtered so much my entire life. Yes. So how would you rename the current NHL Player Award with current players? Maybe a video?
I see. So I've seen this argument of changing the names of the awards. I think some of them you could change, but there's a history to each name and who it's named after. The Jack Adams, you could change to the Scotty Bowman Award because he coached forever Won a whole bunch of Stanley Cups along the way too. Hart Trophy would be, I would think, the Gretzky. Your Art Ross Trophy, you could make that the Mario Lemieux Trophy. Although the argument could be made for McDavid for either of those two, I would guess. I don't know that the NHL has an appetite for changing the names of the trophies now, but I could see over the next 5 to 10 years that starting to pick up steam.
Why do you like Letterkenny?
Because it's really funny. I do like Shoresy, though. The first season of Shoresy I thought was more focused than what Letterkenny's done over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah,
we haven't watched the new one.
Letterkenny
the new one just started up today, so we'll be watching that one. But it does feel like it's more of a sketch show now than it was. Like there's less storylines and more like here's a funny little sketch we came up with.
That's true.
And Shoresy, there was more of a storyline through the whole show. And Shoresy was quite good, but I still enjoy Letterkenny. I still really think they're funny.
Do we fly out of Abbotsford or Vancouver more often?
Seattle.
It's a lot cheaper. I haven't flown out of Abbotsford for a very long time.
I've never flown out of Abbotsford.
I have, but I haven't for a very long time. We've flown out of Vancouver a few times, but we usually save a lot of money.
I don't know that I've ever flown out of Vancouver. I've flown into Vancouver when I was 4. I don't think I've ever flown out of Vancouver.
I have. But yeah, we usually go down to Seattle if we through the border. It saves a lot of money and time because a lot of times there's a layover in Seattle anyways.
Yeah.
So our last trip when we went to California, we were able to find tickets from Vancouver, but there's always a layover, well, almost always a layover in Seattle. And so it makes it take so much longer.
Especially if it's like a 6 or 7 hour layover.
Yeah, like, a lot of times it is. So we just drive down to Seattle, which it's lame having to drive home from Seattle after all that flying and such. But if we save several $100s or many, many hours, I'll drive.
It's both. Yeah.
I will make the sacrifice and drive through Seattle.
Flights from Seattle to Vegas are dirt cheap.
They're really cheap.
They are cheap flights from Seattle to Vegas.
And then we just pay for a park and ride in Seattle.
Because it's subsidized. Vegas, it's all subsidized. They pay, they want to bring the tourists in. And then they want you to gamble and drink while you're there. We don't gamble and drink, so we save some money.
Yep, makes it a cheap trip.
Yep.
Why does Chuck Fletcher still have a
job? For the Flyers, I think after this season, we may see a change being made at GM if they decide that he made moves that has caused this team to go into this tailspin. Usually a GM will be given at least a couple of years to turn things around. I would be very surprised if Chuck Fletcher's still the GM of the team, unless they trust him to do the rebuild as well. And if they trust him to do the rebuild, then he's there for the long haul.
Chances on the Bruins winning the cup?
Well, since they're a team I cheer for, I'll say probably not. As a general rule, teams I cheer for don't win the Stanley Cup. But with the way they're playing right now, if they can play this way the whole season, they have amazing odds. The problem is if they win the President's Trophy, we know where that President's Trophy usually leads. They don't normally win the Stanley Cup with the President's Trophy. And the Bruins have a long history of winning the President's Trophy and not winning the Stanley Cup when they win the President's Trophy.
What moves does Edmonton need to make, and what do you think has gone wrong for them this season?
It's the blue line. It's the blue line. I mean, Jay Woodcroft's a very good coach, but I think their blue line's been a problem. And I talk about it a lot in videos. It's the consistency. Like when I'm doing power rankings, moving teams up and down and all this, watching as many games as I do, I'm amazed that Edmonton has these 2 generational talents in guys like Draisaitl and McDavid, and yet they can be so mediocre for large stretches of that game. Almost any game they play, they can be really mediocre. Against Vancouver, they have no business losing to Vancouver at home 5-2, and it happens. So, the Oilers have some work to do. The blue line's definitely part of it, and I really think that the Jack Campbell move has aged really poorly already.
Merry Christmas. I love you, but not in a creepy way. There you go.
That's exactly the way that I proposed to her.
Not true.
Was, will you marry me? And I don't mean that in a creepy way. So.
Merry Christmas to the Leafs bring in Akiberg at the trade deadline?
Man, I haven't heard that name in a long time. They definitely need help on the blue line. Like, use a little bit of size on the blue line. Pretty sure that wouldn't work, but name, I haven't heard that name in ages. But yeah, they could use a little bit of size, and that kind of a player they could definitely use.
Let's see, last week. Plus, it was fun seeing Lucic get some points.
I told her I started laughing when Lucic got that goal, and then it looked like they weren't going to give it to him.
Yeah.
Just his reaction was absolutely awesome. Like, what? No, that's my goal. What do you know? Because they tried to give it to Lewis. It was so funny. It's nice to see Lucic has gone from an overpaid player that people wanted to trash all the time to being kind of a folk hero. So he's kind of done the full circle. Because in the beginning in Boston, I loved Lucic's game. Absolutely thought he was a great player. I was fine with Boston moving on from him, but it's nice to see him doing well in Calgary and being popular again.
Canucks' first goal seemed to surprise Skinner.
Yeah, it bounced off his shoulder, went over him, and dropped in the net behind him.
That would surprise me.
So,
too.
that would surprise me as well.
How about those Carolina Hurricanes?
14 straight games with a point. So, they're playing well. And we'll see if they hold on to the division and what happens from there.
Here. Oh, pretty kitty.
Here's sweetie.
It's a rare maple sighting. Isn't she pretty? She's a pretty girl.
Hi.
And then what's on your head?
What are you doing?
Isn't she a sweet girl?
Hi.
Thoughts on the Islanders this season? Think they'll make any moves to bolster the lineup?
I do think they'll make moves at the deadline. It's going to depend on where they are in the standings. If they have a really good chance of making the playoffs, then I think they'll make some big moves. I don't know how much, because again, a good team is going to miss the playoffs out of that division. And I don't know if the Islanders are going to outlast a team like Washington or the Rangers, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Here's a donation for some cat treats. Merry Christmas. Aw, the cats say thank you.
Yeah, I do have a lot of cat treats in here and rabbit treats. And the lid to both sounds exactly the same. So it confuses them when I'm giving treats to one or the other. So I'm giving out cat treats and had a rabbit at my feet looking up at me. And the other way around, I open it up for a bunny treat and then I have to point out to the cats, this is all plants. You wouldn't want this?
It's a really hard stick.
Yeah, you guys really don't want this? Even Azrael at this point's realized the bunny food's not for her.
She used to try. It was so funny.
She really tried with the vegetables.
I like this parsley.
She just like see the look on her face. It's like, you don't even like it. Why are you doing that?
Why are we eating this?
But she would see all the bunnies eating. She'd be like, well, I guess this is good.
Okay, if I have to. Your opinion on how Columbus rights the ship?
Columbus is so far out of it at this point. There's really no chance of them getting back into it. Do they go into a full rebuild? How does that look? How does that work? Columbus has been one of the most disappointing stories so far this year. I guess they really miss Bjorkstrand. I guess that just everything has gradually gone wrong in Columbus over the last 2 years. I think they're looking at a rebuild.
Can the Leafs beat Tampa if they meet again?
They can. And that's the thing with Toronto. Toronto can beat Montreal. They can beat Tampa Bay. And I'm going to say they can beat Boston. But where they've lost to these teams in the playoffs is that I think the players beat themselves. I mean, we watched that the series on Amazon with the Leafs, right?
Oh,
that whole series.
Yeah.
And you can see where once the doubt creeps into their mind, once something bad happens, the whole team's just everything changes to, well, I guess that's it then. And so that's been the problem. If Toronto can overcome that and just keep playing and not focus on the pressure and not focus on previous failures, there's no reason they can't win in the playoffs. But you can see when they start to tighten up and they start to just lose it, and it's frustrating. I'm not even a Leafs fan, and I get frustrated watching it.
I'm sorry I don't read all the questions. Sometimes I miss them, or there's a lot of people. And no, I don't read any comments that are in all caps. I don't even scan them over. So there's that.
Azrael.
Does the Devils losing now help them later? Compare Boston.
I don't know if it helps them later, but I mean every team goes through those rough patches. So I'm not panicking about New Jersey at this point. They're still in excellent shape to make the playoffs. Now they get a few days off and teams reset coming out of the Christmas break. Just they have to find what they were doing early in the season and replicate that. It's not easy necessarily, but I still think the Devils are going to be fine.
Can Detroit make the playoffs? Are they like the Islanders? Okay.
Detroit making the playoffs is going to be difficult in that for the Islanders, you've got a lot of veteran players with a lot of experience. You've got excellent goaltending, and you've got a team that I think has got some pretty good systems. Detroit's a young team. Young teams will make more mistakes than the veteran teams. They've gone into a dry patch in their schedule right now where things are kind of tough. I don't know. I don't know that I see Detroit as a playoff team this year, and it is. I think it's going to be tougher for them than for the Islanders. I don't think they'll be in a rental position either. I would be very surprised if Yzerman decides to pick up any kind of a rental deadline. I think he'll just stay the course.
What do you think the Preds need to do to get back to the finals?
Back to the finals, playoffs. I think that it's really difficult for Nashville right now. The Preds have not looked very good in a lot of their games, and so Nashville, it's a rough one. This is a rough season for them. I don't know how you pull yourself out of this if you're the Preds.
There's a cat meowing somewhere.
Yeah, it's
got to be Azrael.
It's Azrael, and I don't know what she's meowing about. Hey, what's your problem?
Okay, if Pittsburgh makes the trade, who goes and who comes in? He's looking for the crying kitty. Oh, he ran away. He's right outside the door.
If Pittsburgh what?
Where to go?
Pittsburgh.
Something about Pittsburgh.
If Pittsburgh,
oh, there it is.
Pittsburgh makes a trade, who goes out and comes in?
Yeah.
If they make a trade, I wouldn't be surprised if they shake up the blue line a little bit more. Their goaltending set. I think their scoring is fine. I'm not sure who you move out, but again, with the salary cap as tight as it is, I think that there'll be rumors about Pittsburgh picking up a winger, probably a scoring winger. I wouldn't be surprised if people try to tie the like Patrick Kane to the Penguins, but I think that it'll probably be a secondary move for Pittsburgh. I don't think there's going to be any major moves with the Penguins.
What are the chances Ovi passes Wayne? I'm thinking 60 to 40% he won't.
Oh, he'll pass him. He'll pass him.
I don't think he'll want to retire until he does.
And his contract's till 2026.
And if his scoring percentage keeps up, he'll be able to do it.
And he signed that contract at beyond the age of 35, so it's not like they can buy it out or anything. So
I think he'd have to get injured to not do
it.
And
I don't think that I can't see Ovechkin not breaking the record.
Will Patches make the Canes offense better?
Yes. Pacioretty, once he comes back, he is a 30-goal scorer. He can score at a rate of 35. He can score at a rate as high as 40. But yeah, he's a good goal scorer. He will make their attack better. I think the fact that they haven't had him means that once he gets into the lineup, they should be more dangerous. Pacioretty is a really solid all-around player at this point in his career too, and I think that would make a huge difference for Carolina.
Shannon, is it good to buy used jerseys?
I do.
Be careful though. When you buy used, especially when you go online, like on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, there are a lot of fakes.
Tons right now.
A lot of
right
fakes.
Now there are a ton of them.
So you have to be more mindful of that. Be careful. You can get second opinions. You can always go on our Discord, ask the people on there. you can send us an email. I'm not always the best at getting right back to emails because we get a lot of messages.
Yeah.
But you can always ask on our Discord. People are really good on there. We've got a lot of people that are into jerseys that you can help.
And then when you're looking online,
no problem with used jerseys. Sometimes you get them really cheap.
When you're looking online, make sure that you feel comfortable asking for more pictures. And if somebody says, well, no, it's just what you're getting.
Sometimes they aren't showing pictures of the jersey they actually have. I frequently tell people, ask for another picture because sometimes they'll just do pictures from pretty far away.
Yep.
So you can't actually see close enough to know whether either the colors are way off or the patches are sewn like crap. Because if you actually want a jersey that looks decent, you don't want to fake. Those fakes stand out.
One telling thing
so bad.
So here on this jersey here, and I mean, just using this as an example, you'll see lines between each letter. So when you look on the shoulder patches, always look for the shoulder patches and see the threading.
Well, even on the NHL logo, you can see that they're sewn on like crap on the fakes.
Sometimes they're crooked.
So bad. Or they're under the laces. Yeah, they're bad. Fakes are really, really noticeable. We see them at every single game. They stand out because they're the wrong color. They're always the wrong color.
Yep.
I don't know why they're always the wrong color. If they tried a little bit harder with their fakes, but they don't. So sorry you've been asked this, but do you believe where there is smoke, there is fire in regards to Horvat to the Canes?
It's my understanding that Vancouver hasn't had discussions about Horvat with other teams yet. So at this stage, it's all speculation from what I can gather. My guess is that when Horvat gets moved, it'll be very quickly, and I don't think we're necessarily going to know before it happens. I think if Horvat went to Carolina, he might be exactly what they need, and Carolina might have exactly what the Canucks need. The Canucks are looking for a first-round pick. They're going to be looking for a young prospect, probably preferring a blue line prospect, and likely a roster player as well. Carolina could do that kind of deal.
Yeah, I think this is two separate questions. Will the Wild go far? And is the Rangers farm team in top 10? I think.
I don't know if Hartford's in the top 10 right now. I haven't gone through the AHL. I was going to do an AHL video too during the downtime. The Wild, it's a tough call with them because we saw last year they had a very good regular season, and then in the playoffs it fell apart. And that's been the storyline for Minnesota since 2003. The only time they went to a conference final. I do think that with Kaprizov, it's only a matter of time before they go on a run. I just wonder if Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be capable of going on a nice long playoff run again. A lot of goaltenders will have that run towards the end of their career. It is possible. I will say that I'm more optimistic about Minnesota now than I was, say, 3 or 4 years ago.
Here you go. What do you think are the Caps' chances of a cup if everyone comes back?
For Washington, a Stanley Cup, I'm not going to rule them out because they did win it in 2018, but I don't see them as being a favorite. They'd have to come through as a dark horse, which they did in 2018. They'll be, I would think that when the odds maker gets around to it, if they make the playoffs, they'll probably end up around middle of the pack. But the encouraging thing lately has been they're winning games when Ovechkin wasn't scoring. So when Ovechkin's not getting goals, if they're still getting wins, that's a huge bonus to the Caps, and we'll see if they can keep that going.
What do the Leafs need at the deadline?
Depth. It's going to be depth on the wings. It's going to be depth on the blue line. Maybe you pick up a third-string goaltender as well, unless, they trust Shalgren as the number 3, fine. But if they decide they want more depth, that's fine too. But I don't think it'll be anything major.
Should I go all in with a 2 to 7 of spades? What?
I wouldn't go all in with the 2-7. So, I mean, if they're the same suit, it definitely helps your odds, but 2-7 is like the worst hand in poker. So if you're doing Texas Hold'em and you got a 2-7, unless unless it's just you heads up with one other person, if it's a table of 5 or 6 people, I would fold. I would fold so fast and run from that. But that's me.
Oh, goodness. How do you feel about the poll that Devils fans are the most annoying in the NHL now? Oh, there's worse teams than that.
Well, wasn't that a poll that the Devils fans were more annoying than they were at the start of the season? I think that's what the poll was. I know it was Jay Fresh. But I mean, people will change their mind on which fan base is the most annoying. I know that we've had that debate on the channel of which ones have had the most trouble with, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's just I think all fan bases have their share of dinguses, and all fan bases have their share of really reasonable fans that you can have a good conversation with. So I try to focus on the ones I can have a good conversation with and ignore the dinguses, or dingai, as they're called in plural. So if you have more than one dingus, they're dingai.
Are they?
So, yes. Oh. That's the plural of dingus. So if you have like a large group of dingai, you can just point and go, there's a dingai over there. I'm not going over there. It's just a plurality of dinguses. So much dingai. And then that way people won't get mad because they won't know what you're talking about. Just don't point when you're saying it because people don't like being pointed at. You know, you just sort of do the dingai over there. We've sat in front of some dingais. There's nothing more frustrating for me going to a hockey game and sitting in front of a fan that's just really loud behind me that does not understand what they're talking about.
Or they're explaining the game to somebody that's sitting by them and they're wrong. I had the last Abbotsford game. What was that? I was having to explain something to somebody because they were so confused, and so I had to explain it.
Because there was the one. I don't remember which game it was we went to.
The Flying V.
I think it was the game against Florida.
Sitting there going.
Game against Florida a few years ago. I think was when we sat in front of somebody who was just really loud and kept talking about, and they didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, there was one. And they were talking about players and stuff, and you were just the whole time under your breath. No, he's not.
Because all the players that he said sucked.
Nope.
Don't.
No, he's.
And it was like. Did he just say that? And then I missed when no. But I can't say anything. I'm not going to turn around and go, so you left your brain at home. Can you stop it? And talk to the guy he's talking to and go, don't listen to anything he says because he's a moron. Just don't.
Your geese are on my front lawn. Can you take them back? We like our honkers. We've lots. They like to live by our house.
The plural of moose is mooses, but it sounds stupid. So
no, it's moose.
No,
the plural is moose. It's not mooses.
Yep, it is.
It's not.
Yep.
Do you think Detroit get back into the playoffs?
I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think they're probably a year away, but they're going to be close.
I don't get people who use their fingers to whistle. That looks gross. Right? Putting their fingers in their mouth. Blech. Cooties. Probably shake hands after that or something gross.
There are people who think it's meese.
What about... Well, mouse, mice, moose, meese. There you go. Goose. Geese.
I'm calling them meese from now on. Look at that whole herd of meese. I like that.
Imagining Adelaide's response of, Mom, what about the people of the game who act like coaches all the time? Actually, what I don't like at games, the people that bang on glass. That's so irritating.
See, and I don't do any of that. I just sit and quietly watch the game.
The guys that are up front and just, stop.
The only time that I've gotten upset with a coach during a game is with the shootout against Ottawa.
Oh yeah.
Didn't they have Edler?
Yes. Yeah. Why?
I was like, what? Who made this decision? Why is I think it was Edler that was in the shootout.
That sounds right.
And the Sedins were on the bench, and I'm like, yeah. So who made this decision and why? Is this game not important? Because there was a fan sitting next to me, and we were both just railing the whole time. Edler had a really rough night that night. That was a rough night for Alex Edler.
It's always been Meese. It's Meese. It's 2022. Grammar doesn't matter anymore.
I think Meese is great. That's awesome.
I'm just waiting for you to say that around Adelaide. Adelaide has to verify everything.
Well, because
anything Shannon
I
says,
tell her everything
Mom,
with conviction. I tell her everything with conviction.
Yeah, she can't tell.
But I mean, I'm teaching her an important lesson. Don't always trust what you hear.
That's true. She does understand. Don't trust men. Ask your mom first. Frequently, she'll come, Mom!
Shannon said this.
Shannon's saying this. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Is Adam Petlick the best defensive defenseman in the NHL?
Who? Adam. Oh, Pellick.
Yeah. I just slaughtered the name.
I would go with Jacob Slavin personally, but I'm a big fan of Jacob Slavin. Chris Tanev in Calgary, also still an excellent defenseman. I don't think his advanced numbers are as good as they were a few years ago, but he's still excellent defensively. And there are some two-way defensemen that are excellent defensively too. I keep seeing people saying Cale Makar is just a one-way defenseman, and when I see that, I think, so these are people who don't watch Cale Makar play.
The Manitoba Meese.
Right.
Oh my gosh. That just sounds so goofy.
Why not? There's Leafs.
I keep having to remind Adelaide, when it's on trees, they're leaves. When they're playing hockey, they're Leafs.
Yep.
If they're not playing hockey, it's not a Leafs.
Yep.
They're leaves.
Yep. It's weird. It's bizarre.
What's your cat's name?
This one is Shadow.
Is Shadow. You have a lot
Shadow, right?
more cats than that.
Good kitty. You being good boy.
As a non-native English speaker, I'll just accept this. Oh no. Don't take lessons from Shannon.
I will not buy this tobacconist.
Who's Yvonne? Me. I'm Yvonne. That's who Yvonne is.
See, you should have worn the Yvonne jersey. I got her a Minnesota Wild jersey and put her name on the back of it.
He did get an Yvonne jersey. I do have a jersey that says Yvonne on the back.
With the number 1, because she thinks she's number 1.
I don't think I'm number 1. Shannon thought it was funny.
It is funny because you're number 1, which means you're the goalie. So when you wear that to a meetup, you have to go in net.
That'll work well.
That'll be great. Why does she scream every time we shoot at her and get out of the way? Have to tie you in the net like in that dumb movie.
No. His Shadow vocal. All of our cats are vocal except for
He'll sit on
Maple.
the stairs and cry. He will cry to go outside every single day. I open the door. He sees it's miserable. He doesn't go out. But he wants the option every single day. And he will run around crying. And then after I've shown him it's ugly outside, he'll go to a different door as if it's going to be different out that door.
We're girlfriend and boyfriend. Shannon calls me his girlfriend.
Well, I mean, technically.
No, technically, we're married. So I'm not his girlfriend.
I'm not attached to the ring. I'm just saying. I've got a bunch of other rings in the drawer.
He does.
I don't know if you've noticed. People complained about the look of one of the rings that I had. So I have like 4 or 5
Shannon's
different
petty,
rings now.
So
I was like, really? People are going to complain that my ring is ugly? Fine, I'm going to get even uglier rings. I'm going to get other rings. One ring to rule them all. Go ahead, finish that.
Thank you for the Christmas ranking board. Love the work from the both of you.
Yeah, why'd you make it like so nobody could see it?
I know, people are whiny.
See, and I was just concerned that it didn't have numbers on it. I thought people might complain to it, but nah. People didn't like the tree thing. Even though I said at the beginning, all right, I know it's gonna be hard to see. This is a fun thing to do, and then I'll have a board at the end. I'll have a board at the end.
Bunch of whiners.
And at the end, I'll show you guys on a board where everybody is. Don't worry about it, but yeah.
My original wedding ring was a blue Doctor Who one. Well, that's fun.
Shadow's
married to Shannon. No, Bear is pretty sure
she's the first
the first wife.
Yeah.
I'm the second wife. Bear's the first wife.
Yeah.
And she needs to make sure that I know
I did
that
point
she
out
comes first.
Bear knew me before I knew you.
Yeah.
So
Bear likes to remind me. She's the first wife.
Because before I met Yvonne, Bear was always sleeping on me, sleeping next to me. She slept
still
on
does.
me. She
She
slept
still does.
here.
Still does.
As a kitten the whole time. Every night I went to sleep, she'd be right here.
When we first started dating, Bear would sit on the other side of the room, and the whole time.
Yeah, she just
for
glared at
hours.
me.
Just
well, I kept
saying
she's a sweet cat. I promise she's a sweet cat.
I swear she's really nice.
She's a very nice cat. She just looks like she wants to murder you, but she's a very nice cat.
No, somebody asked if we've been married before. I am Shannon's first wife. He had a
common law, 15-year relationship.
Right. I have been married before as well. My children are from previous marriages.
Yeah. I was willing to, but I was the only one willing to, and it turns out you can't get married when it's just you. They'll look at you funny at City Hall.
What?
Like, I couldn't go to City Hall and just say, yeah, so I want to get married. And then they're like, to who? Pardon? No, I just want to get married. Just give me the form. And they won't even give you the form if you don't have somebody there with you. Okay. And then I got taken out by an orderly. And I don't know. Then I ended up in Tijuana. No idea how I got down there. But, yeah. It was nice down there, though. It was great. I still didn't get married, though.
Okay. Moving on. Iserman's individual stats dropped as he recalibrated his game to win championships. Are we seeing the same thing in Austin Matthews this year? Merry Christmas.
I pointed out in the Ovechkin video I did yesterday that he had down years at about the same point where Matthews is now. Goal scorers won't usually do it every single year. So I think for Matthews, I think it really is about expanding his overall game. He's still likely to hit 40 goals at a minimum, just not the 60 goals that we saw from him before. I think he's absolutely fine. And again, for Toronto, I do think the team's evolved. They should at least get out of the first round this year. This is a really solid team. I hope that they do get out of the first round.
Jack Hughes has had a good start to the year, and he's been scoring really good goals. But do you think he can hit 90 to 100 points?
Hughes is such a dynamic player. 90 points, I would think, is a low. I would think he can hit that. I think 100 points is reachable. Maybe not this year for the 100, but he will hit 100 points in a season in his career.
No, my shirt is Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's different. There's Oogie Boogie and the Mayor and Jack and Sally. And there's Lock, Shock, and Barrel. And there's Zero. See, it's Nightmare Before Christmas. Eat Christmassy. I'm dressed Christmas.
Okay, now the Vegas question that's in there. Did you see that one with the Vegas question?
Nope.
Asking about the V, that there's a curve in it, and how do you straighten it out? I don't see a curve in the one I have.
Let me. Where is it? Hold on. I will look for it, but to see it. Jack Hughes has had a good start to the year.
Yeah, you asked me that one.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Buffalo's missing. Yeah, right up here. This one.
I'm sure you've noticed the curve in the V in the Vegas reverse retros. How do you recommend straighten it out? Oh, maybe this. So if you can iron your jersey, if you don't have an iron, have it in the washroom when you take a shower. The steam, and don't have the fan on, have the door shut. The steam will help straighten it. You can also iron your jersey, but be very careful. It is polyester. They do melt. So you have to be really, really cautious. You iron it from the inside. Do not have it on your hottest setting. It is polyester. So put it on your polyester setting. Pardon me? Anyways, have it. What? There's not dirt on my bum. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Iron it on the inside on your polyester setting. You can even have a piece of fabric like a cloth between your iron and your jersey. Okay. I don't usually do that because I want to be able to see the jersey, but yeah, just don't have it on too hot. You guys are really cute together. Merry Christmas. Where's the bunnies? Before Shannon ends up sleeping with them.
Cinnabon is in her cubby down here. I've got an area for the rabbits when they come down here, but Cinnabon's the only one that comes down here now because all the other rabbits pick on her. So she can't wait to come out in the morning and come down here because she gets, basically this is her home away from home. And then she gets really upset at night when she has to go back upstairs. That's why I don't bring Licorice down here, because Licorice just picks on her. He picks on her, he puts the run on her.
Yeah.
So I can't bring Licorice down until that stops. And I don't know when that's going to stop.
Jersey question: is it possible to have a Taylor take in a 52 to a 46?
Physically possible.
Yeah,
that'd be tricky though.
It is one of the things
with
making things bigger to smaller. You can't really shrink your neckline without totally dismantling it, which is a lot of work. It is,
and then making everything match up.
Possible. Well, that you can do. You can do that because
depending on the jersey. There's
so
some
your
that
jersey you can take it in here along here to make that smaller, but your neckline is going to be bigger unless you dismantle it.
What if the seams here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like some of them,
right.
They have a design that if you take it in, it's going to make that design not work. Not match up
because it's going on both sides. Usually you're able to. You're able to. It's the neckline that's difficult.
I don't know.
So
I wouldn't do it.
Can't be right. It's tricky. It is tricky.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it personally. I just buy 46s.
Who do you see winning the World Juniors?
I think Canada's got a good chance. The States is going to be very good. The States sometimes gets overhyped, but I think the American team should have a good run. So yeah, I'm going to go with the two North American teams. Although Finland should never be underestimated.
Do you guys have Christmas dinner plans? Not today.
27th.
Today is not our Christmas.
27th's tricky because, as I've said, there's 13 games in the NHL that night. So
and that's our Christmas day.
That's going to be a pretty tight day for me. I'm going to be doing videos and then upstairs and then down here doing videos and upstairs. And trying not to be a bad host, but I have stuff to do that day too.
Just have our moms here, so
yeah. Well, my mom and my kid are coming, so yeah.
Yeah, but today's not our Christmas. Today is our Christmas, Adam. So
she's trying to make fetch happen. She's trying really hard to make fetch happen.
Oh, I'm hilarious.
She's trying so hard to make fetch happen, and I'm appalled. And yet I can't look away.
He's jealous from my awesomeness.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that's what it is. It was bothering me because it wasn't cut very well. But that's on me.
Okay, why do you think Finland is so good internationally now, despite the lack of big names the majority of years?
So with European countries, I've always had this theory too that a lot of these players have played together coming up. More than with Canadian American players. I think that helps. I think we see that in the Olympics too, where you have a country of whoever, but these guys play together. They know each other. I know even just with athletics I've played, that just knowing the players you're playing with makes a huge difference. You know where the guy's going to be, you know what to anticipate, you know what's going to happen. So I think that definitely helps. What is your deal today, Shadow? But yeah, I think that makes a big difference. And I think with underdogs, there's less pressure. And I think that helps as well. What? I've already picked you up twice. What is your deal? Holy.
Favorite Christmas movies? Die Hard at number 1. Of course.
Elf.
I do like Elf. Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation's fantastic.
Great.
We
like
haven't
Nightmare
seen Violent
Before
Night
Christmas.
yet.
That one's fun.
Violent Night I want to see because I think that's going to end up in there too.
Oh, I like The Man Who Invented Christmas. I
Night
really
of the
like
Comet.
that one.
Night of the Comet's one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's a Christmas movie.
I know.
She doesn't agree with me, but it takes place at Christmas. Hector's dressed up as Santa Claus in one of the scenes in the movie. It's a Christmas movie, and it's fantastic.
Why would you wear IKEA on Boxing Day? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, IKEA's, it's all boxed. You put it together yourself.
Oh, I guess. Okay.
So this is what you want all day, Shadow? Because it's not
Polar
happening.
Express. I'm not a fan of Polar Express.
No, me neither.
I'm not.
No, I was never a big fan of Polar Express.
Violent Night was fantastic.
It looks really good. I mean, I like David Harbour. Obviously, from Stranger Things, it looks like he's just playing a Santa version of the character he plays in Stranger Things, who's emerged as a superhero. He started out as just a small town sheriff, and now he's Schwarzenegger. Right. It just happened because, of course, when you're in a Russian gulag, you do gain a lot of muscle mass and you do get a lot stronger because that's what's known to happen when you're imprisoned and you're starving to death. Is you get a lot stronger and you become a much better fighter.
Yes. Is Buffalo still the only arena that plays both national anthems, regardless of the teams that are playing?
I want to say yes, but I know there's been other instances too where that doesn't happen. With Buffalo, it makes sense because you have a lot of fans come across the Canadian border anyways. So it makes sense for Buffalo to do it. I honestly, I like it when they do it all the time anyways. To be honest, I like it to hear both anthems because you're going to have American and Canadian players for every game. You're going to have fans from each country watching for almost every game. I like both anthems. I think that's kind of fun.
Is Gremlins a Christmas movie?
Yep.
Yes. When it came out, it was a Christmas movie.
Gremlins is a fantastic Christmas movie.
It came out as a Christmas movie. There were Christmas
Never Ending
toys.
Story come out around Christmas too?
I think so. I had a Christmas Golden book that was Gremlins. It was only the beginning part of the movie, but yeah, when it came out, it was considered a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. That's a great one too.
Didn't realize until last night that Rent is technically a Christmas movie. Is it?
Rent?
Yeah, the musical.
Yeah, I know. How would that be?
Do I need to sing the song?
I've never watched it. No.
I can sing the song for you.
You don't need to do that. Is Jesus Christ Superstar a Christmas movie?
No, it's an Easter movie.
Okay. But it was on last night.
Because it's awesome. But it's an Easter movie. I always make the kids watch it for Easter.
See, for me, my tradition, and I didn't do it this year, is the Alistair Sim Christmas Carol.
Because it's not our Christmas yet.
So,
Christmas Vacation is a great movie.
Yes. So Scrooged.
We always watch Christmas Vacation.
Scrooged is a very good movie too.
Yes, I do like.
And this year we saw Spirited. Spirited is a nice addition to the Christmas movies.
Would you end up going to the Memorial Cup in Kamloops this year? I don't know how far that is from Abbotsford. Kamloops is about 3 to 4 hours, depending.
And then Memorial Cup
on
Memorial Cup's usually in May. So that's when the Stanley Cup playoffs are at their height. It wouldn't make sense for me to do that. It would just be more headache for me. I mean, there's a reason that I'm on the set. There's a reason I'll go to Vancouver Canuck games. It's kind of the same thing.
Kamloops is much further.
And Kamloops is.
And you have to
do the Coke,
go on the Coca-Cola.
And
you know that show
Highway
on
Through
Discovery,
Hell.
Highway Through Hell? That's the Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
That's the road you would have to travel to get there.
Although I think sometimes they have Highway 3 on there. 97.
Yes, and sometimes they have parts of Highway 1 as well.
Because Hope Princeton can be kind of sketchy there too. Hope Princeton can be a real nightmare to travel.
I don't go Christmas season without watching Home Alone. Our kids love Home Alone.
I'm too old for Home
love
Alone.
The movies.
I never liked Home Alone.
They really like it. So
no, I think if Joe Pesci had played the character he was in Goodfellas in that movie, it would have been better. Of course, it would have been a much shorter movie.
Oh, Surviving Christmas. I do like that one too. That's a good one. That's a fun one. I've made you watch that one.
Yeah. You like the Cranks one too.
Yes, I do like Christmas with the Cranks.
Yeah.
That's when I watch with the boys. They like that one as well. I bet on Winnipeg at 4-1 to win Central. Thoughts?
They can. For Winnipeg, it's going to be between them, Dallas, and I don't rule out Colorado because they're going to get healthy and they're going to go on a run. But yeah, Winnipeg absolutely is in the hunt for it. I could see them winning the division. It'd be great if they did.
Oh, Muppet Christmas Carol. Yes, that's one of the best Christmas movies too.
Because of Rizzo.
I do really like
Rizzo's lines in that movie make that movie. He makes that movie.
I like the Christmas Carol. Yes, that one's good.
Almost anything Muppets I generally like. The Muppets I do. Even the live action series they did a couple years ago, I actually liked it.
Yep.
But it's just Muppet stuff doesn't work as live action series. It's never going to get the kind of ratings they think it will.
I always like the Muppets.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, rent starts and ends on Christmas Eve. That is true. I hadn't thought about that either.
Well, I'm still not watching it.
What
about Greatest Showman? Is that a Christmas movie? Because
Nope.
Where's Red in it?
It's not.
And there's songs in it.
Not Christmas.
So that could make it Christmas.
No.
I know The Shining is a Christmas movie.
No.
So.
Just because there's snow.
And family.
No.
And there's a close relationship between a mother and her son as they deal with this great challenge in their lives. And it ends with them driving through the snow. So, I mean, you know, they're dashing through the snow.
No, it's not a Christmas.
Well, the dad has gone cray-cray.
No.
Down the hill they'll go, screaming all the way.
It's so not a Christmas movie. No.
Shining Works is a Christmas movie.
It's not.
It always has.
No. Rocky 4. I don't know.
Rocky 4. Rocky 4 can work as a Christmas movie because it's filmed that there's snow in it.
All work and no play
he's
makes
in Russia.
Shannon a dull boy.
He is he's
Y'all cray.
Sure.
No. Bad Santa. Never watched it.
It's a good movie. It's not an Yvonne movie though.
I've never watched it.
It's not an Yvonne movie.
All right.
I can't see that. There's the Bad Moms Christmas. That one's not bad.
That one's funny.
That one's got its moments.
Yeah. Christmas with the Cranks. I do like that one. The boys and I want to watch that one. We haven't watched it yet this year.
And then this year we differed in opinion on I Believe in Santa.
Yes, we had very, very differing opinions on that movie.
So she was touched in parts where I was like, what is going on and why?
I liked it. I thought it was cute. I think Shannon missed the entire point of the movie.
He's insane.
So
he's absolutely certifiably insane. He's a crazy person.
Nope.
And the movie just glosses over how crazy he is.
Nope.
He's insane.
Nope.
He's got that crazy face.
He definitely had a crazy face, but
and he's actually married to that woman in real life, and they had zero chemistry on screen together.
Do you think Dallas regrets firing Rick Bonus?
Bonus walked away. That was a situation where Bonus wanted to change. I think Dallas is still in good shape with Pete DeBoer. And I think it was a matter of them wanting more goals. And so far, so good with DeBoer. So that change has worked out pretty well for Dallas, as Bonus has worked out for Winnipeg. So I think both parties are pretty happy with the way that worked out.
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. I do really like that movie. And I like the original
Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes.
I knew where you were going with that. Because those two are together all the time.
I do. And I like Babes in Toyland, the old one. Yeah. I like some of the old movies. I'm not a big fan of White Christmas, though.
Yeah.
That's not.
She's not dreaming of a white Christmas.
Just finished eating prime rib. Now watching THG stream. It's a good Christmas.
There you go. See, prime rib. You should make that for dinner. Be good for you.
I'll just get right on that. I'm not doing anything anyways, so.
Right?
It's got all this spare time.
The roads are clear. You can go down to Save On and.
On Christmas. That sounds super fun.
I'm sure they'll be open. Oh, do you think 7-Eleven sells prime rib? Because they'd be open. Just walk in and say, you guys got any steaks here?
The grocery stores just close early.
You just walk in. You guys got any steaks here? Then they'll offer you a taquito because it's steak and cheese. And you'll be like, that's not what I'm looking for.
It's not actually steak, though.
Well, it's beef.
It's like chopped up beef nugget.
It's probably the same beef that you get in
beef nuggets.
No, those little the cubes I get. The cubes I get you. The stew beef is probably what they use for the steak.
Maybe.
It's probably stew beef. Well, because the stew beef is the stuff you can't use for anything else.
Right.
Because I know I used to cut that. I loved cutting stew beef because that was easy.
Right.
Like, yeah, cool. Look at all these cubes I cut. Be like
7-Eleven prime rib on a stick.
Everything's on a stick. True. Steak
Bad.
kebabs. Pretty sure that's the thing. Steak kebabs. There you go.
Well, you can't, but it wouldn't be steak, so.
I don't know if I'd want to give a sharp stick to the boys for when they're eating next to each other, but
let's give them a stabbing implement.
It's going to be eye patch city after that pretty quickly, but I mean, yeah.
Okay. They might have canned beef. Some canned beef's not bad as long as it's not chopped.
I like corned beef. I like corned beef out of a can. It's good.
Costco used to have a canned roast beef that was actually really good.
You've never had Vienna sausages, have you? The tiny hot dogs? I think you might like those.
No.
But you have to eat them cold.
No.
So, and there's a gelatin that they're kept in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways.
But it just slides right down the gullet.
Bullying video. Love to all who go through it. No, that's nasty.
Yeah, the bullying video was one that I felt that I needed to do from my experiences going through that. On the entertainment guy, I've been doing more of the personal stuff lately. Feeling more comfortable talking about that, and just with general things being as they are, I think, I might as well talk about this. And I mean, it's part of what made me who I am now. So there's that.
It's true. Thoughts on the sequel of A Christmas Story? Christmas Story, Christmas. I haven't watched it yet. I need to see where that is. Like what service is on to watch it, because I've heard that it's good.
We'll see.
We'll see what?
We'll see if you watch it.
I'll let you know.
I just put my foot down, which means I will make the decision on that.
No.
Foot's been put down.
Yeah, if you don't, you fall over.
Man of the house.
Good for you. I'm glad you own a penis. Thanks for sharing. Anyways.
I don't know if I own it.
No comment, because this is a live stream.
Haven't you watched commercials at my age? It's gonna be gone.
Anyway.
That's what all the commercials say. Did you know that? No, shut up. Dear Lord, I was watching a hockey game. Stop making this about me.
Shannon looks like Clarence. No, he does not. Shannon's way more handsome.
Patton Oswalt never played Clarence. Never happened.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Does Tage Thompson something sustain this?
I mean, I don't expect 6 points per game, anything like that, but he can be a 100-point player. He can get to 40 goals. Thompson's a really fantastic forward. I'm happy to see him come through this. And now the problem is it is going to create a situation where there's GMs that might have a player who's struggling at a young age. They look at Tage Thompson and think, well, we can't get rid of him now because look what Tage did. When I think Tage is the exception, but it is always nice to see a player really develop and do what they have to get to that next level. Tage just has a great compete level.
Shannon, should you stand up?
At one point in time, I was set up to do a stand-up routine, and they had the whole thing figured out. I was going to make $250, and I chickened out. I was like, because stand-up is different from just off the cuff, because stand-up is actually having the routine and having it there, and you got to kind of, be funny right out of the gate. And I just didn't know if I could do that. I've been told that basically since I was a little kid that I could do stand-up. I've certainly enjoyed some stand-up comedians. I generally tend to enjoy the ones that do the observational humor. Brent Butt's one of my favorites. John Panette, Mitch Hedberg.
Who's Shannon? This piece of sexiness here is Shannon.
No, you can't see. Now you say that.
You're welcome.
No. That's not. No.
They know I'm right. It's okay.
That's just no. They don't know that you're right.
They do know I'm right because they get to take all
this could be all CGI
every day.
This could be all CGI.
You're welcome.
For all that the internet knows, I'm an AI and I'm not a real person.
Oh, he's real.
And I've been superimposed into videos for years.
All real.
Okay, so
you're welcome.
Okay. All right then.
Merry Christmas.
My name's Mary.
This is just
can't see the line, can you, Russ?
You guys are gonna get monetized. You're welcome. No. Okay. Merry Christmas, Shannon and Yvonne.
I do think Rantanen belongs in the Hart conversation. I think that one positive has come out of this, all the injuries for Colorado, is that it has shown what a leader Rantanen can be. And I always appreciate seeing players go through this kind of growth. I think that, yeah, this has been a great storyline for Rantanen and for the Avs. They come through this with a good record. They're set.
I believe he's AI. It explains how Shannon knows every single hockey fact. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Slightly ridiculous. Merry Christmas. Thank you, too, for all the amazing content.
No problem. Yvonne's responsible for a lot of it. Because she'll just tell me, hey, you want to go make some money now?
I would never.
Come on.
That's not a thing.
Why don't you start being productive? I understand playing with the cats is fun.
Never a thing.
Go be productive.
Never. That is
go do your job.
Shannon.
Every day.
Oh my gosh.
Why aren't you making a video now? Why weren't you making one 10 minutes ago the last time I asked you? Are you going to make one now? Do I have to start the board for you? Oh, look, I'm on Hockey Reference. Look at all these teams. Look at all these players. Find one. Do a video now.
Oh my gosh, Shannon. Dalton Varsho trade? Varsho? Or am I slaughtering that?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to do a video on a non-hockey
Shake your money
trade.
maker hockey guy. Right? LOL, you should do that every day, Yvonne. I couldn't imagine talking to Shannon like that. No. Like, even joking, I would have a hard time even keeping a face.
If anything, you try to argue I don't need to do another video.
I do try and talk him out of doing videos sometimes or doing something else sometimes, but Shannon's very nope.
I got to get this done.
Yes.
I'm very much of the mind that I need to do this now because I don't want to have to do it later.
Right.
So I'll get it done now.
Thanks for a live stream on what could be a huge depressing day.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
It has been a depressing day for me before.
And that's exactly
I've gone through that.
Every single year we do a live stream on Christmas Day. We also do the live streams on Thanksgiving Day as well. So yeah, that's exactly why we do them, because it's not a great day for a lot of people. How do you wash jerseys?
Carefully.
You don't have to wash them too carefully. I do wash them
inside
with
out.
The rest of our laundry.
Not in hot.
Yep. Inside out on just the cold or
warm.
the room temperature. You do not use hot water, and you never, ever, 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 never put them in the dryer.
Nope.
That's it. You just use the regular soap. We really do put them in with all the other laundry. If you have brand new clothes, do not put them in with brand new clothes. Always wash brand new clothes separate.
No, I'm not playing the game, Kitty.
Always brand new clothes, always separate. But yeah, just inside out and never put it in the dryer.
Azrael thinks I'm going to play the game.
Adorable orange and white kitty. She is, isn't she?
A sweet little cat.
Do you wash cats? No, I like to keep my arms.
Cats are really clean.
Awful. Yeah.
Case
and I don't
in
know
point,
if you noticed, they
bathing cat.
Clean all the time. Especially at night when we're trying to sleep. They like to lay on top of us and then bathe.
Bear will bathe when she's 2 inches from my face.
Yeah.
I'm
seriously.
Like, you can't. Come on.
We have this whole house, and
I'm getting splash on my face. Would you stop it?
Okay. Enjoy your NHL Christmas break. You've earned it. I enjoy, Shannon, not having to watch games till really, really late.
This is true.
It is.
This is true.
The little break is much appreciated. I am sure the players and the people that have to do all of the traveling for games and stuff really appreciate it.
It's a nice reset.
I know for us it is appreciated. Thank you. Wait, I already read that one.
Yep.
Oh, must have repeated. Shannon and Yvonne, what are some shows that you're watching right now outside of baking?
Outside of baking?
Hockey.
Or baking. Outside of hockey. You said outside of baking.
I know, because I was thinking, well, baking shows.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Lot of baking
British
shows.
Bake Off, Canadian Bake Off.
We'll be watching Letterkenny later. because the new season's released. So we'll be watching Letterkenny.
Why don't you get an intern?
I don't know what I would have an intern do because I like to do things myself.
He does. It's hard enough to get him to let me help. It took a couple years to convince him that I could actually help more than just the live streams.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I have Gabriel doing work in here for me, and there's some of the stuff I was getting just to clean up the boards, and now I do that because there are a couple mistakes he made, and I was like, well, I'll just do it then. And so I do that. So if
it would be weird having somebody come into our house to help them do research or write on the board.
I mean, it's not like it would make it easier for me. Like when there's 10 games on, it would not help me to have a second person in here. It would create chaos, I think, and then that would cause the other person, myself, to have a conversation in all likelihood, and I might not be taking notes like I normally do. Plus, how do I make sure somebody else is going to take notes the same way I do? The only way this works is a time machine. So I go back in time. There you
go.
I get Shannon from 20 years ago, bring him here. He would answer with, "What the hell?" And I'd be like, "Okay, and here's what you do." And I would show him how to take notes. And then within probably 10 minutes of the starts of the games, I'd be like, "Okay, this isn't working because 20-year ago me does not take notes the same as I do now. You're going back to 20 years ago." I'd have to mind wipe them a la Men in Black, and I'm still by myself anyways. So I've clearly thought this through, and it still doesn't work.
Great plan, Shannon. There you go. See?
I mean, I guess it could get me from 5 years ago, but why? And then me from 5 years ago be like, well, if you're watching all these games, I'm going to go see Yvonne. And be like, no, see, that's not, no. And then you come down and go, 2 of you? Yay! There'd be a lot of, it's not cheating. It's still you.
Okay, anyways.
She's right.
Moving on. What about cloning yourself? I've watched that movie. It doesn't work out well.
Multiplicity is a great movie. You want to find a movie that's forgotten from back in the day? Multiplicity is actually a really good movie. Michael Keaton. You've seen that one, right?
Oh, yeah.
He clones himself. It's honestly a really funny movie that's completely overlooked.
You can see cloning, it doesn't work because then the new you doesn't want to do the same stuff too.
That was one of my favorite Michael Keaton movies, and it flopped. I never understood why. I thought it was clever.
Wouldn't you just give the sports almanac to you from the future, you to current you? What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know that I would tell 20 years ago. Too. Me from 20 years ago, I don't think I would tell myself much of anything. Except
double the Shannon, double the sexiness. Right? See, I'm glad you guys see this too. Because
I don't know that I would tell myself
more people need to see
Boston's going to win a Stanley Cup, but I might tell myself Vancouver doesn't. So, because I'm sure me from 20 years ago would ask, well, the Canucks won a cup by now, right?
About that. Meeseeks and Shannon. There you go.
Oh, I would love to have a Mr. Meeseeks. That'd be great. I've actually talked about that at times. I have a Meeseeks box that you hit the button. It just doesn't create a Mr. Meeseeks, but I'm still hoping that someday that happens. I do need to catch up on Rick and Morty. I'm way behind on Rick and Morty. I'm also. Do you mention the
Riot? He's done videos on that.
I've done videos on
it all the time.
And so, the last video I did on it was the last video I'm doing on it. It's an incident that's just it was a small number of Canuck fans that just
a lot of them were not Canuck fans.
And there were non-fans
for the hockey.
And it wouldn't have mattered if they won or lost. The Riot was coming either way. It's just
but there's videos on it already.
I know we've had games we've come out of where there's some really loud drunk people.
Oh my gosh.
That we kind of have to. There's times we've stuck around in the team store to make sure those people get out.
Especially when we'd take the SkyTrain to Park and Ride.
Oh, SkyTrain was awful.
You get the super drunk guys on the SkyTrain. I really don't like being around those super drunk guys after games. They get way too close.
And we both have experience in our past where those kinds of people can get violent very quickly. So
or touchy.
There's some of that I would imagine. I would imagine the 2011 riot. There was some of that involved as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there was some alcohol involved in all
that. Double the dorkiness, right? Imagine if Shannon and Yvonne from 20 years from now showed up at the door. We'd be so old. Oh my gosh. We'd be so old. Did you know Shannon's birthday's coming up?
Not for a while.
It's a little over a month.
It's in April.
It's not. So, he's making crap up.
It's April 4th.
It's not. We don't say old. We say seasoned. We'd be super duper seasoned.
Yeah, at that point, I'd be like Cajun Spice. I'd be so seasoned.
Okay. Trade Horvat for Byram and tank for Bedard.
I don't know that Colorado would part with Byram. And the one concern I'd have with Byram, and he's an excellent young defenseman, is his injury history would give me pause. I would I would think that would cause the Canucks to possibly turn that down. But the Avs would be a good location for Horvat.
How do we still get the stupid bots? It's so ridiculous.
I know. There's been a bunch of them showing up.
People don't actually click on those, right? You all know to not click on the ridiculous bots. There are not hot girls waiting for you. There's not.
On Christmas Day?
Please.
Probably not.
Don't click on them. It's so silliness. Anyways, how many hockey games have you watched? Give or take 50.
There's 1,312 a season, so I'm going to guess at least 5,000-6,000 games.
It's a lot. Shannon's running away.
See, they both sleep on the tree together. If you girls could get along, that'd be great.
He's running away. Bye, Shannon. Greetings from Sweden. Hello from Sweden. Happy Christmas. Bye, Shannon. He ran away. I don't know. So how's it going? Merry Christmas. It's really cold in here. There's hot singles in my area. Do you guys get those commercials still on TV where there's the girl on the phone and I'm waiting for you to call me? Whatever. Like girls that look like that are just doing phone calls, I'm sure. How did the move go? Well, we moved back in May and it was terrible. I hate moving. It wasn't as bad as the previous move. That one was awful, awful, traumatic, but Shannon needs an intern to grab a Coke. You know, he has a tiny little fridge right here. Holds 6 cans, but does he use it? No.
I used it during the summer.
We don't need cans in the fridge right now. It's cold enough.
During the summer, I used it.
Shannon went to get his time machine. He's back. Ta-da!
I wish I had a hockey time machine.
A lot of money in jerseys back there. Impressive. Well, that's one way to say it. That's odd, but yeah, it is a lot of jerseys. They're not. We don't pay full price for jerseys.
Pay as much for them as people would
ever.
Think.
So yeah,
so a lot of the jerseys on that wall that were $50 or less, waiting for sales, traded players, liquidations, that kind of fun stuff.
Thoughts on Arthur Kaliev didn't play Calgary, Arizona.
I like Kaliev. I think with him, I think it's working on his overall game. I think his offensive game is very good. I think it's the overall game he needs to work on for Todd McClellan to trust him more. Healthy scratches happen with young players all the time. It's not a big deal. I think he's going to be good.
Thoughts on non-alcoholic beer? Why?
What's the point? It's
like beer's gross in the first place. Don't people drink it because it has alcohol? I don't
see. For me, the only reason you'll ever find me with a beer in my hand is because I don't want to get drunk. So that's the general rule. Is so I have a beer, and then when people ask, "What are you drinking?" I just go, "Yeah, I already have this, so I don't need anything more." And then that way, I know I'm not going to get drunk, and I'm not going to be having a bunch of drinks because I have a beer.
I don't.
There was one point where I'm trying to remember who I was out with, but somebody was getting drinks bought for them, but they didn't want them, but they didn't want to turn them down. So they were pouring them into my beer.
Yeah, I was just thinking the only time I ever have a beer is when people buy me a beer.
And so the beer that I had, So the beer that I had, I wasn't drinking it
wants a
anyways.
beer?
So I know it was a young woman I was with too. It was a work thing or whatever. And so she just kept pouring drinks into my beer. And then I knew I couldn't actually drink out of it. So he said, "Oh, can I have a sip of your beer?" And I'm like, "You really don't want that," because it was about 4 or 5 different kinds of alcohol in there. And then at the end of the night, I just dumped it out and went home. But if I'm carrying a beer, it's because I don't want to drink, because I don't like beer at all.
Yeah, the only time I have beer is when somebody gives me a beer.
Yep.
And I do usually try and pass it off. That's what I was doing at the Offspring concert.
Yeah.
Here, some guy gave me a beer. Take it. I don't want it.
No.
I'd rather have wine or cider. We do like cider.
Cider's
but
great.
We really don't drink. We really don't.
Yeah, cider's good on a hot day.
Red Wings will make the playoffs. I'm calling it now.
I'd be interested to see who would fall out if the Red Wings were going to make it, because that means 2 of the pretty good Metro teams would have to not be in there, because I can't see them pushing down Tampa Bay, Toronto, or Boston. So just the math starts to catch up with Detroit pretty quickly.
How do you think Detroit Red Wings will do for the rest of the season to start off 2023?
The odds makers with Detroit, they're low in terms of their ability to make the playoffs, which tells me their schedule doesn't get easier. Really, with Detroit, you're looking for growth for your young guys like Soderblom. You're looking for more prospects busting into the lineup when it's justified. The growth of Berggren, and I don't think playoffs are a consideration at this point for the Red Wings. They're not going to be basically, they're not going to be one of those teams that's at the bottom, but I don't think they're going to be a playoff team this year. And so, yeah, the focus for me anyways, when I'm watching the games, is how the young players are doing, how everything's holding up, how the systems look, rather than the result itself.
OMG, Offspring is my favorite band ever. I was at Woodstock 99. I really like Offspring.
Yeah, I didn't go
Shannon,
to the Offspring concert.
Not so much. Right. Because he took me to the one before that, and he still whines about it. So this one whines about it.
It's 4 hours.
This last time I went, was that a month ago? I was going to go by myself, but then I went with one of my friends.
Like Sublime just wouldn't stop, and they had 4 hours, and it's all the same song.
That's not.
And then Offspring came out for 20 minutes, and they played the same song 3 times, and then they left. And I was like, well, that's done. I'm glad I had that 4 hours.
He whines about it still, and that was years ago.
It's just so.
It was awesome.
Why is Sublime still playing? What's going on?
Shannon doesn't like Sublime, but it was a great concert.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of ska music. The one a month ago
was really fun too.
Ska music, not my thing.
I really like Offspring. So, our black cat has a bald belly too. What gives?
Well, I think because they're black, it shows up more than it would on a lighter colored cat. I think most cats do. Hey, kitty. Hi.
Totally missed my Chumbawamba reference. No, I did see it. I just didn't read it out loud.
Did he get knocked down and he gets up again?
Yes, that's what it was.
You never keep those people down.
Tool a few years ago was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. They are fantastic live. I really hope they'll come back.
I never meant to see them live.
We had tickets for the 2020 concert, but of course that didn't happen.
I should have gone with Kimber that one time he went. I could have, and I didn't.
That would be, I would really like to be able to take Shannon.
He even told me at the end of it, Maynard sat on the stage by himself, looked around, and he said, I don't think Maynard's coming back. He said just the way Maynard was acting after the concert. He didn't think Tool was coming back.
Is fantastic live.
We've seen Perfect Circle, though.
Yes, we have.
We haven't seen Pussifer, but if Pussifer came to
they would be fun.
BC, which they haven't, I would love to go and see Pussifer.
Green Day is fantastic live. Green Day would be really fun. Yeah, Green Day would be fun. My hands are freezing cold.
One topic of conversation I'll just throw out there, and it's a really quick thing. Boulevard of Broken Dreams does not need a dance remix. So when I'm listening to DJs during a game, there was a lot of swearing that came out of my mouth when I heard a dance remix of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. What are you doing, DJs? Some songs don't need a techno beat, and Boulevard of Broken Dreams is one of those songs that doesn't need a beat like that. Like, it's just, I was like, what are you doing? That song's fantastic as it is, and I'm not a huge Green Day fan. That song's awesome, and you've added a disco. What are you like? What in that? What are you even thinking? Doing like I don't get it. There's times where there's a theory Yvonne and I have that
somebody went to a concert. They want to ruin every song. Weezer and Fall Out Boy. That sounds awesome. I would love to see Weezer in concert.
Yeah, you would.
I really like Weezer.
We tried a couple years ago.
That would be really fun. Yeah, wasn't it really
the concert was really expensive. It was ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I would love to see Weezer.
It was on a night where I couldn't have not watched hockey, and so you would have gone by yourself, and it just didn't work. But they would be fun live.
Damn near blew my drink over my screen with that rant going on there.
I don't understand what these DJs are thinking. Let's do a dance remix. Well, why don't we do one for 9 Inch Nails Hurt? Let's just Hurt. Hurt needs a dance remix, right? And Hurt Myself Today. Right, Shadow?
Shadow. People keep asking about the cat's name. This one is Shadow. Gosh. We have a bunch of cats. We also have a bunch of rabbits. We have the
yes,
THC Cats Instagram, and I put pictures of the cats and rabbits.
This is what he wants.
Shadow's not on there as often because this is all he does all day is lay on that bed and then turn everything into a polka. There you go.
See, if it's Weird Al, it's fine. But seriously,
Weird Al keeps polka alive.
The remixes. Well, if you watch the Weird Al movie, basically those polka parties can be a problem.
Saw Weezer and No Doubt back to back. That sounds fun.
I would have enjoyed No Doubt in concert because Gwen Stefani is a fantastic voice. But what was the point of her being married to the lead singer of Bush if they never sang a song together?
I know.
I was so excited. I was like, oh, Gavin Rossdale and Gwen Stefani. I can't wait for that duet.
Bush is really good live. They were great live.
They were fun.
I did really like Bush.
They kind of saved the night because the Cult was not good. Well, the Cult was frustrating. Yeah. I was so excited to see the Cult.
Though, so I wasn't.
And yeah, when you don't care about the lyrics to your own songs, it kind of takes me out of it where I'm like, wait, what were those lyrics to Firewoman you just threw in? Those aren't the right words at all. And just, it wasn't great.
Well, going to Vegas for the first time in January. Any tips? We have lots of videos on our Vegas. And
Entertainment Guy, there are a lot of Vegas videos. So you do a search for Vegas videos on the Entertainment Guy channel. It's a lot of videos of all the shows we've seen. We've recapped.
Yeah, we do videos when we get home where we
reviewed our days and stuff. We did our days. Each day we did what we review, what we watched, what we've done. The tips are simple. If you're strictly tourists, stick to the Strip and Fremont. You're going to find everything that you want there.
The monorail's awesome.
Monorail's
the bus is really cheap and awesome and just goes up and down the Strip.
Every 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it's frequent. You don't need to.
If you've never been,
get a car.
Watch out with the showgirls on the street. If you take a picture of those girls, you do owe them money. Yes. That's how it works. And they don't tell you up front, hey, there's going to be money if you take a picture with us.
Well, because some people take a picture of them as they're just walking.
Right.
They're there to make money. That's their job.
And generally, they're nice girls. It's very rare. There have been some that I've said, I don't know how she's going to make money because she's kind of surly and not very friendly.
You see the ones that are yelling at people.
And it's like, what do you...
But there's videos, lots of videos.
Yeah, we've done a ton on Vegas.
Yeah.
We've been doing Vegas trips for 4 years. So we basically now when we hit Vegas, we know exactly where we're going and what we're doing and in what order.
Yes. Video idea, best 10 defensive forwards ever. Gainey, Bergeron, Gilmore, Lettinen, Caberno, Datsuk. I love these type of players.
I could do something on defensive forwards. There are, if you're looking at the Selke, there are a lot of, was it Frank? Because when I did the history videos, there was one that kept coming up constantly. Yeah, I can do something on that. And I would use the Selke as part of the discussion for that. Yeah, I can do something like that.
Weird Al for a Super Bowl halftime. That would be fun.
That'd be fantastic. That would be really fun. And I don't think you can't offend anybody with it. You could do a really, really good, definitely, and Harry Potter could come out with them too and dress up like him. And You could even have Daniel Radcliffe out there for the start of the performance with him doing the lip syncing while Weird Al's singing from off screen.
Yeah, that was
somewhere else. Yeah, that could work.
Same as the Disney characters. They'll bug you for money if you take a pic. They usually look slightly terrifying, though. Some of them, yeah.
On the strip, some of those
some of them look really
Wasn't it
scary.
Woody? Woody looked like he'd seen some things. I was
and the Mickey and Minnie always look terrifying, but yeah, Woody was scary looking.
Well, Minnie always has this.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, they've seen some things. These are creatures that have seen some things in their time. Was it Deadpool that was fun to talk to, though? Was it Deadpool or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. There was a Spider-Man that was fun. He was just a nice guy. Just talking to him because I just made mention that it was really hot.
The funniest
and it has to be really hard.
Was when the Chippendale guy starts talking to her.
Nope. Guys that are not clothed can just.
And he's coming over and he's like, "Hey," and she's.
Nope.
And I'm trying to chat him up like, "Oh, this is great.
Touching.
This is great."
The boys can just back up.
Because we've gone to burlesque shows, so I've been very open with her. Like, hey, if you want to go and watch a Thunder Down Under, or you want to watch a Chippendale show,
no,
I can't say anything because I have to be equal to this. And she says no.
No, Rouge was awesome.
Rouge was fantastic. That's a show I would recommend in Vegas. That's not overly expensive. Rouge was not overly expensive, and it was a really fun show. Not if you're easily offended, but hey, it was a fun little show.
By offended, he means offended by nudity and people's bodies and sex jokes.
I mean, yeah, but it's that was a fun show, and anything Cirque.
Yes,
anything Cirque is fantastic. Although Rouge was Cirque, isn't it?
Nope, no, it's not. No. Yeah, if you go to Vegas, you have to go to a show.
You have to do a Cirque show. We've seen a Cirque show. The last 3 trips, we've made sure we went to at least one Cirque show.
Yeah. Oh, Penn and Teller, that was a fun show too.
Yeah. Penn and Teller was good.
Yep. There's a lot of really good shows. There's a lot of even cheaper shows that are awesome.
The MJ show.
Oh, that one.
The Michael Jackson show.
I did really like that one.
It's at the Tropicana. I'm hoping the Tropicana is still open and everything's still in place. But yeah, the Michael Jackson show at Tropicana, absolutely fantastic. The guy who was playing Michael Jackson was great. The dancers are fantastic. And I was one of the only ones that was actually kind of chair dancing during the whole thing.
It was surprising how few people were dancing along to Michael Jackson songs.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Everybody's just kind of sitting there watching. I'm kind of bobbing back and forth.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Who sits still at a concert? That was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Hope you guys had a great Christmas doing some after Christmas shopping for NHL stuff. Is the NHL shop the best, or are there other sites that are better? It's not our Christmas. It's our Christmas, Adam.
At this point, it might be the best spot to get NHL stuff. There's Sports Buff Shop. For jerseys, I go through Ben H Sports. It's in the description to everything I do is how to get a hold of him for deduction off what you pay on eBay for stuff. And he's caught up on the reverse retros now, so I think I'm allowed to start recommending him again. He had over 3,000 jerseys to organize. So, bit of a rough patch. He actually sent me one jersey that was an extra. So, I had to send that to somebody else for him because he had somebody else who wanted that jersey. So, I made sure that got sent out. But yeah, really, the NHL shop is probably the best place.
NHL has the most selection. There are other stores.
Fanatics really just kind of squeezed out all the competition and bought the competition as much as they could, and they've squeezed it out. Cool Hockey can be a good spot if you want jerseys that are customized, although people have had problems with their customization. I generally haven't, and I say that though that Montreal one, all the numbers and letters were coming off of it, so she had to fix that. And they were very good about it. When I contacted them, they discounted the price for the stitching. So I got refunded the amount for the stitching on the jersey because I showed them in a picture what it had done. So I saw a message from Quinn too about whether or not we're going to be able to do a meetup before February.
We have a trip coming up.
Yeah, we've got the trip at the end of January, which goes through the
it's like the first week
All-Star
of February.
break.
Yeah.
And that's why it's scheduled where it is. I don't think I'm going to have the time before that. It's like with my birthday coming up, I'd like to do a party of some sort for my birthday because it's kind of a big milestone. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have time to to do that party because of the NHL schedule being as it is. So if I can figure something out to squeeze it in there, I would love to, but you know, it's just even like we would have done one during this break, but we knew things are busy this time of year and it probably wouldn't work out very well. So,
when is Shannon's birthday?
It's coming.
It is. It's right after we get back from our Disneyland trip.
Yep.
Like 4 days after.
So, I mean, ideally, I would rent a hall. I would have.
Fanatics is the only company that makes women's jerseys. I know.
I would DJ it. Ultimately, if I had a choice, I would DJ my own birthday because I want to hear the songs I want to hear. Too. And DJs generally don't usually play the music that I want, and so I want to DJ it.
Do you guys do meet and greets? Not really.
Not in terms of meet and greets, no. But in terms of meetups, where we locally we'll play street hockey or floor hockey, and then we have meetups when we travel as well, which doesn't always involve playing hockey, because you can't. Not every location has
sometimes
that.
We don't.
Like when we go to Disneyland, we'll probably have some sort of a meetup with subscribers, but I don't think there's going to be any street or floor hockey being played. I guess we could just go to Muscle Beach and just play a little bit of street hockey down there.
Do you ever get tired of hockey?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There are nights, especially middle of the season. Part of the reason I'm glad that we have a few days off is because my eyes were starting to glass over. It's weird. There are times where especially when there's so many games on, my eyes kind of glass over, and I'm like, I don't know that I can follow this right now. So I do have those nights. I just do my best to get the job done. I have to do this. This is my job. So I had other jobs.
Large, extra large is a good option if a woman is petite. But youth are also only in Fanatics.
Now they are.
So I do really like the youth, the hoodies. I can get really fun sweatshirts in youth because I do wear the large, extra large for youth. But there isn't women's, and even the youths, those are Fanatics. Yep. They're not Adidas. Yep. So you're still getting the Fanatics logo. And so if you are smaller, you only get Fanatics. And it's really annoying.
That's true.
So like for me, if I get a 42, which that would be the only size that works for me in Adidas, it's still really, really long. Like it goes almost to my knees and it goes past my hands, which is why I wear women's jerseys, because they actually fit. But the youth jerseys, they're Fanatics too.
Yeah, so the old Reeboks. The Reeboks, that wasn't a problem.
Since Adidas really liked the Reeboks. Yes, I really liked Reeboks. The women's Reeboks, they fit great, but they don't. Nope. So now there's not jerseys that fit. It's really lame. And every time I mention that in a video, we get stupid comments about how, well, women don't play hockey or women aren't in the NHL. Yeah. Neither are people that wear a size 42. So I've heard silly.
I've heard fantastic things about Hockey Authentic and the work they do with stitching on jerseys. So if you have a blank and you want to get it done, I think you can send it to them. Hockey Authentic's website, it's easy to contact them and everything. I know they're out of, I think they're out of Richmond too. That's the comments made there. Very, very good work. They're pricey though. And so for me, it's been a matter of it's the price point that kind of scares me off, but I understand that it's very good work. And for people who only have one or two that they're looking at and they're not looking at this kind of a collection, paying that kind of money for one jersey you're going to treasure of your favorite player of all time, that can work.
Yep. Also, there aren't any size 60s in NHL, which is what I wear. It's a silly argument. Yes, I've said that as well, that doesn't make sense. Most of the hockey players wear like a size 40 or 52. I've got a 56. Is 52. Yeah.
I've got a practice jersey that's a 56 from the Canucks. That's one of those actually worn by a player, but it wasn't anybody of consequence to the Canucks, so I got it for like $40. And I do collect hockey cards. Yvonne's been bugging me. I should buy some more hockey cards.
No. Oh, we moved them because we have the Christmas tree. But usually in videos, you could see there were boxes of unopened hockey cards.
I think they look nice in the background.
We have so many hockey cards.
When the Christmas tree comes down, I'm going to put them back up there, and I think they look nice. I think they look perfectly fine. I think they're nice. And at some point in time, I will open them. I planned on doing it the last off season, and then I didn't.
We just end up getting busy.
We were very busy, and it just I just didn't have time.
Always plans to do stuff, and then you get too busy.
Or we would do a live stream, and I'd open like 2 packs in the live stream. Yeah. So I'd be like, all right, so I'll have these packs open by 2075 or 2083 or something.
I missed the beep at the start of your videos.
I have not changed it so that the beep's not there. It's I think it's a Windows update that changed the timing of it. I know that on the other computer for the Entertainment Guy channel that it shows up in those videos. It's weird.
They would sell more jerseys if they were fitted to women. What a dumb argument. I don't know. I don't know how well women's jerseys sell because when it was Reebok, we were able to get me jerseys for ridiculously cheap because they didn't sell.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe when you get to like the medium and large women's, maybe those sell better. And maybe we were able to get them cheaper because I do wear a small or an extra small. But so it could be like the men's jerseys. Yeah. The 42s don't sell either.
No. Yeah, Ben's not going to be.
Yeah, a lot of places don't even stock those. Yeah. So it could be similar with women's jerseys, but I don't think women's jerseys do sell very much. So I don't know. I just think it's irritating that there isn't an option.
Mm-hmm.
But not so. Let me see. What? Not so fan with the too boring the hockey guy, but that wife is so vital.
There's Pixel. All of the kitties have been in the video. Look, she's telling you. I picked her up.
Oh, see, this is my Pixel. She follows me. This is my baby. She's a sweet girl.
See how alarmed you are with me picking you? Yeah. Every other cat, I can carry them and carry them like babies. Her, nope.
She doesn't like to be picked up.
I've tried holding her like I hold the other cats, and she just like is, pardon?
She does not like to be held unless you're holding her in front of a window so she can watch birds. Then she's okay with it. Other than that, you can just keep her down.
But she'll sit at my feet and I can pet her.
Yeah, she's a sweet kitty.
She likes being pet. She doesn't like being picked up.
I have a huge collection of hockey cards, maybe close to 7,000. You should do your top 100 favorite cards video. That'd be a lot.
I don't know how I would decide on favorite cards. The
jersey cards.
The video.
Those are so fun.
I've done videos where I've talked about. I really like the old videos where they would hand paint on the new jersey when a guy gets traded or signed, and they'd paint on a new jersey.
They look so ridiculous.
My favorite is when a player goes from point A to point B, so they paint on the new jersey, and before the card gets to the public, they've been traded, so they have to put now with, and it's a third team that's not the team that they drew on or the team they were drawing over. So that always makes me laugh. Or they get the wrong guy in the card and they just put now with. They did that. Joel Otto and Mo LeMay were switched, and so Joel Otto had said now with Flames, and I'm like, he never left the Flames. That's Mo LeMay. What are you doing?
I collect jersey cards for a few players like Buffalo Bill, but for hockey jerseys, the jersey cards are really fun. Those are my favorite. I do really like.
They are. There's a bunch of jersey cards in those unopened boxes. So,
do you guys like being recognized at hockey games? It's weird.
The whole thing's bizarre.
It doesn't stop being weird.
It's never not bizarre. Really weird. It's bizarre. It's humbling. It's just odd.
People are always really nice though.
But like for instance, when we were in Disneyland almost 3 years ago, and we're walking around Star Wars Land, and I'm dressed up in Star Wars gear, and I'm recognized, and I was like, "This is weird," because I'm in Disneyland. I'm not in a hockey location. That's weird. So there are times where I get recognized, and it's odd because of the location we're in, and it kind of throws me. So, but I still remember the first few times I got recognized. That was weird. It's still just as weird now. It's just more common.
It is. Yeah, it never stops being weird. What team is gonna blow it up soon?
Nashville might if they miss the playoffs and if it's ugly. Philly, I think, is going to end up blowing it up, and I think that it could be interesting to see who Philly moves and who they keep.
Just shows how YouTubers are more noticed no matter where you are.
It's so weird.
It's weird. Yeah, we have been recognized like everywhere. In an elevator in
Vegas. Like the first time
I've got noticed at the grocery store from behind. Is that the hockey guy's wife?
Like the first time we went to Mike's place, nobody knew who I was. And so I'm playing street hockey and it's good. Nobody knows who I am. The second time we went to Mike's and I come in, everybody goes, "Hey, it's the hockey guy." And I'm like, no. We're at the house of somebody who's famous. I'm not famous. You guys, when I arrive, can't be like, "Oh, hey, look, it's the hockey guy." No. The famous guy's over there. I'm some goober on YouTube. That's the famous guy that's got all the crooning of Christmas songs. I'm just here to play some street hockey. I'm not famous. So that really threw me because I was like, wait, no. So they're like, "Oh, yeah, Mike told us and we're watching your videos." No, this is not what this is weird. It's not supposed to work this way. It shouldn't
be weird. It is, though.
It really
when
is.
You live your whole life being a nobody, it's weird.
I went before the channel blew up, obviously, before I knew Yvonne, I could go weeks where outside of work, I would have no interaction with other human beings. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared. I would go into the same stores, the same restaurants and whatnot, but I was as anonymous and as inconsequential as possible. I've always kind of liked blending into the background mostly. But yeah, once the YouTube thing blew up, it's been weird. It's been really odd. And her and I can tell when it's a subscriber that I'm walking by. There's a look. We can tell the look
when people know who you are. Because a lot of people don't approach us.
No.
Some people do. Like, but there's the look they do and they do this.
Like at the concert. At the concert, 3 Days Grace. There was a guy 2 rows in front of us.
Yeah.
And you pointed out, and then he commented on the 3 Days Grace review that he was 2 rows in front of us. And I'm like, I know exactly who that is. Because he kept turning around looking and nudging his buddy next to him.
Yeah.
And so she pointed it out to me, said, they know who you are. So even at a concert, it's just odd. And again, I'm not wearing a hockey jersey to a concert. I don't wear THG gear and go, "Oh, people recognize me. What is so weird?" I try to look as just boring as possible, and it doesn't work.
He does try and go incognito.
I even try not to talk out loud too much because my voice gives me away very often. We have had
people know who we are when they couldn't even see us because they could hear Shannon. Yeah,
they hear the voice, and that sounds like the hockey guy. All right.
I have a follow-up question to being recognized. How do you feel about the fact that your cats are now beloved and internet famous?
I love that.
That's fun.
I love that. I think it's great that the cats are immortalized that way.
Yeah, and we have them on the Instagram and people do really enjoy it. And sometimes we get the cameo requests and people request the cats or the rabbits for that. Yep. And that's kind of
so if somebody does a cameo funny. And they say, "Oh, this person really likes your cats," I'll make sure that one of the cats is in the background or right next to me when I do the cameo. So I try to make sure it's as personalized as possible.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's easier to handle, I think, than people recognizing us.
Yeah, I love that for the cats. I mean, like with Lilybell, she's immortal. People know who Lilybell is.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Would this channel be as successful without your good wife? I am sure Shannon would do fantastic even without
it wouldn't be
me here.
No, there was a lot. I was very, very angry before I met Yvonne, and that's kind of gone now. So yeah, that's made a big difference.
The comments section would be harder to handle too.
I would have
so many.
I would have had to have hired somebody by this point if the channel had blown up and all that. Hey, Pixel, you never climb up here. How you doing?
Are there treats up here? Not that I'd eat them. I just have to check. She's our odd cat. She doesn't like cat treats.
Or the laser pointer.
Nope.
I can have 4 cats chasing the laser pointer.
Just look at you like you're stupid. What are you doing? You don't expect me to chase a light, do you? She's too cool for that. She's a sweet kitty, though. He's a big kitty. Look at a big kitty. Hey. Honestly, most of the comments are nice. Just hockey fans talking. That's because you don't see all the ones that are deleted.
Yeah, there are.
We delete a lot. It is way better now than when the channel was small.
Yes.
When the channel was small, the comment section was
toxic.
Really, it was hard to handle.
Yeah, it got toxic. I would
live
try.
Streams were really hard.
And I got to the point where I said, I'm just gonna have to clean these people out and just just deal with it how I have to deal with it for my own sanity. So
our ban list is huge.
It is a big ban list.
Automatically banned words is pretty long. Yep. We do get a lot of automatically held comments, and we do delete quite a bit. So that's why our comment section looks pretty nice, because we do a lot of work to keep it that way. Yep. And you can see we have a lot of mods. Our mods do a lot of work to help us keep the channel decent. But yeah, it is way better now than it used to be. We have some large cats. We have 2 large cats. We have 2 large cats and 3 tiny cats. Pixel is a big girl. Once she got fixed, she really just kind of bloop, and she stayed that size. She doesn't. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, they just ballooned
They don't eat more than the other cats. They just, once they got fixed, they kind of gained weight. And Shadow's just a big boy. He's not overweight at all.
Shadow's solid.
He's just a big boy. And then the other 3 are just, they're small.
So like the kittens will pick on Bear because they know they can't pick on Shadow because he'll just wallop them.
Mm-hmm. Cheers to the mods. Absolutely. We really appreciate the mods. The mods really, really help us. And same with on Discord. The mods do so much on Discord.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't do the Discord without them. They do so much work on there. Yeah.
It's a great community that's been built. And so I don't let the negative and the others detract from that, because I know what the community has meant to people, and I know that's why I do the videos daily. That's why I didn't take a day off for Christmas, because there are people who count on those videos every day. I remember when we were in Vegas, and there was that one guy who approached me who had a terminal condition.
Yes, really nice guy.
And
he was really nice.
So he had a terminal condition. He was going through a lot, and he said my videos were really helping him. That daily routine really helped. And that experience, I said, okay, this is one guy I'm meeting in person. Odds are there's a lot of others out there in similar situations who are going through whatever, and that daily video, that just sense of normalcy, that sense of routine can be really important. So that's why I don't take days off and I work through. It's not a money thing. Like the money you get on a Christmas day for videos is not much. Ad rates drop the 3rd week of December. That's why YouTube.
There's a lot of YouTubers who take a little holiday.
Sometimes they take January off. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to take. Because January's ad revenue is terrible.
It's like a quarter. You can get the same amount of views, or frequently we get more views in January. Yeah. The income just.
There was one January I figured it out, and my view counts were 30% higher, and I made 20% less money because of just the ad rates being lower. So that's why there's YouTubers that'll just stop posting or not post very much in January, because there's not much money to be made with that.
I appreciate you guys being here on Christmas. It's not the best time of year for everyone.
Right.
And that's why we do it.
That's why we're here.
Well done, Lars and other mods. Absolutely. Lars is amazing in the live stream. Super helpful.
She's ready for a close-up if one.
She's a lady.
Hi. Hi.
For all the feedback you get, you will never really know the giant impact you make on people globally.
It's very humbling.
Yeah, it's an odd thing to think
Very,
about.
very humbling.
How close do you follow college hockey?
We don't really get the college hockey up here. Well, we get more than anything. We have CHL, which is the Canadian juniors, and I haven't really been able to keep up with that either. I do pay attention to prospect reports. I do pay attention to draft classes and who's where and who's likely to be a superstar or not. But yeah, and I'll be getting more into the prospect videos once we get past the halfway mark of the season. We have a good idea of who's going where in the draft. But I just don't have the time to keep up with the rest of it the way I'd like to.
Pay more attention to what people say in chat. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's what I've been doing for 3 hours.
Smart enough. Smart
you're
enough.
welcome.
Pay more attention.
That's all I'm doing.
It's not like we're talking to each other.
That's why I'm here.
I've watched other channels. I've watched other channels.
Cool.
I've watched other channels during a live stream that they just talk amongst themselves, and then they'll catch up on super chats for a while, and then they have the conversation amongst themselves. Generally, it's the people watching the live streams that decide on the direction the conversation goes, which very often is towards non-hockey.
I suppose you do live in Canada. We do. You're correct. We do live in Canada.
Yep.
It is. Yep. Very much Canada here.
It's very Canadian Canada in general.
Canadian Canada.
It's a very Canadian Canada.
Right. We've got see, here we've got our Canadian ornament right here.
What did you drop?
The Kings fell. Yeah, definitely in Canada. Have you ever visited Montreal? No,
I sadly have not, but I'd like to because I've heard all kinds of fantastic.
I still miss all the golden questions. Golden questions. I miss a lot of questions because we're only able to read so many because they just keep coming.
Why are you missing the golden one?
I don't know what a golden question is, but I know I miss lots of questions. I try, but did you guys have bad weather? We sure did.
Crap weather. We had so much freezing rain. I'm really surprised we didn't lose power. There are some in the city here that did. Across BC, there are some areas that lost power. I was quite surprised we didn't because
felled trees from the. We had about an inch of ice on things. I put some pictures on Instagram.
Once you get the snow and then you get the ice on top,
we had a lot of snow.
It just absolutely drags down. I know friends of mine are having problems with leaky roofs and things like that, and thankfully, our roof has a really nice angle on it, so we're not going to get that problem. Steep. But yeah, tough. It's really been. And it is week.
Now. Our temperature has gone up 20 degrees in 2 days, so it's a mess out there.
Yep.
So we still have a lot of snow, and it drifted, and then it did freezing rain on top. And yesterday, I went out and I was able to walk on top of the snow drifts. It's weird, but yeah, lots and lots of snow. Really, really cold. Our house does not have good insulation. Would Vancouver trade a 2023 first for Gunther now?
No. And I say that even though I like Gunther and I think he's going to be a really good player. The number one draft pick for the Canucks this year could be a Bedard. It's possible. Not probable. Canucks don't win draft lotteries, so I'll be absolutely stunned if they win a draft lottery. I'll be in my garb for the 7th year in a row. It feels like it anyways that the Canucks are always in the draft lottery.
That's true.
But yeah, this is a really good deep draft. I don't think they would move their first for almost anything right now.
Would you visit Europe?
We would love.
Yes,
we would love
that
to
visit
would be Europe.
Great.
We've talked about it.
We have.
I want to go to the Scottish Highlands just once in my life.
THG, would you try EHM or FHM? Great hockey sim games.
I bought Franchise Hockey Manager. I haven't played it. I bought it. I installed it, but I haven't played it. So I got it on Steam.
Time for
I just didn't have the time.
Oh, there's my mom. I was mentioning earlier.
I haven't played
on here.
I didn't get NHL 23. I never played NHL 22. I don't think I have the time for that.
Uncle Scott, some snow removal service here in the woods. I'm sure that would take forever plowing their driveway. That's my mom. That's my aunt. Please don't ban them, mods. My mom has been banned a couple of times because she's a troublemaker. Go to the Alps. I'm sure that would be beautiful and cold.
I'd have to do yodeling, wouldn't I?
I'm pretty sure.
I think you have to yodel.
Do you guys shovel your own driveway? Who else would shovel it?
We got the boys to shovel. I shoveled part of the sidewalk. So we have the sidewalk to get to our mailbox. So I went out and shoveled a large portion of that because we have people in the neighborhood that are older. And I thought, if they're out, they do their daily walks. Not gonna be able to do that if there's 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. So I went out and shoveled it. I just felt like that's the least I could do.
Just noticed Yvonne's tiny hat. It's my Santa hat. I had a little girl at church tell me that my hat was too small. It was funny. Shannon doesn't have a heated driveway like McDavid. We do not.
It would be expensive having a heated driveway.
Yeah, for what? We don't. It's not.
You'd use it for like a week of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't get cold enough here to justify that. But we shovel it.
It's the same as I laugh anytime somebody says, "Have you ever had an outdoor rink?" No, I don't think never have either. I've never seen an outdoor rink around here.
No, I told the kids they should go skating. Backyard rink. Yeah, I told the kids they should go skating yesterday. I said, if you ever wanted to go skating outside, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, backyard rinks aren't really a thing. There is the rink in Vancouver, the outdoor one there, but I mean that's like a rink. It's not like you'd have in your backyard. We just don't have that here.
No,
we don't have a river that freezes over. You can just go skate on it. Yep. That's part of the reason why, in terms of hockey players from BC, I think it suppresses some of the numbers from this area, because you don't have that opportunity to skate outside in the backyard.
Can you do a video on who you think will end up to be the top goal scorer at the end of the year for all 32 teams?
I mean, I could. I don't know that. I mean, that would be a tough one to do, because it's pretty obvious for a lot of teams who the top goal scorer is going to be. But I could talk about breakthrough goal scorers. I could talk about goal scorers for each team that maybe aren't being as recognized for that. Like, for instance, like Nico Sturm in San Jose type of thing. Despite all of the detractors, JT Miller's goal numbers are still good in Vancouver. And that's even despite his drought.
Is Besser still worth a first? I don't like the rumors of him going for a second or a third.
Besser at this point is not worth a first because of his contract. So because of his cap hit and because he's not performing up to that contract, the goal scoring has not been where it was expected when he signed it. He's not going to fetch them a first. If a team is going to pick up Besser's contract, they might ask the Canucks for a draft pick and then figure out some other pieces along the way. But yeah, Besser's value has fallen off. And that's why I'm kind of thinking if they're going to move anybody, Garland might have more value, and they might be better off moving somebody else. Maybe once Pearson's healthy, maybe you can move him. I don't know that they're going to get back for Besser what they want.
Look, it's Shadow's owner. What's his name? Hockey something.
See, now she's going to go sleep.
Now. Aw. See, you guys get to see Pixel. It's rare.
She's never on videos.
No.
Nope.
Thanks for all you both do. We all really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm 57. I remember the Flyers 2 cups fondly. Will I see another before my 80th birthday?
Eventually, you should. It's interesting with Stanley Cups, because I say, and I mean this, I don't think I'll ever see Vancouver win one. I just don't see it ever happening. Boston, I think I will see them win one in my lifetime again. Dallas could. Philadelphia absolutely could over the next 20 years win a Stanley Cup. Philadelphia's been in the Stanley Cup finals a bunch of times. It's only a matter of time, I would think, before they get back into the Stanley Cup final. Gary wished you a Merry Christmas yet? No. Sadly, no. I could always do a phone call. That? I always do a phone call with Gary. But I did a phone call with Gary too recently, I think, for me to do another one. So
I don't think people would complain.
No, I think they would. There'd be a lot of.
There would not be.
I think there'd be a few.
Do you have to clean a lot of cat hair from your jerseys? No.
I don't wear them that long.
Do you see how they are? They can't get hair on them very easily.
I don't wear them that long, and I don't carry cats generally when I'm wearing a hockey jersey.
Hold on, let me go help the boys with something really quick.
Okay. Minnesota, they will regret the buyouts for years. With Minnesota, they had to change the locker room. There's the feel in the locker room. They had to make changes. For Minnesota, it's short-term pain over the next couple of years for long-term gain, I think, is the plan. It does make it more difficult for them to have that depth. It does make it more difficult for them to make it work. But yeah, I think that's where they're at. I think the Leafs will win the cup in my lifetime. I hope so. I will say I hope so. I really would like to see Toronto win a Stanley Cup. That'd be great. Why are you?
I'm cold. I'm really cold.
Why? Where did you go?
No, I've been cold in here.
Oh.
I've been in here. I'm cold because I'm in here.
It's not that cold.
It is cold in here.
Not that
Where's
cold.
the thermometer? Yeah, it's 16 degrees. It is too cold in here.
Most of the time I did videos, it was 13 over the last week.
Well, good for you. So, that's really cold. It's still
well,
cold.
I'm just saying I got used to the 13 degrees. So
can I get an 8x10 Shannon personally signed? That's my mom.
I know it is. Is that what she wants for Christmas?
Needs to be like a boudoir picture. You do
no,
or something. I could totally. Yep, that'd be great.
No to the boudoir. Foot down now. There.
That'd be great.
I put my foot down.
That would be great.
No.
Yes. I vote yes.
That's I love charity and everything. I don't even know if I do that for charity. Full on calendar. I think West Coast kids would get $500 from me not to publish a calendar.
Let's see. On principle, as a Habs fan, I'll say no for Leafs, but at this point, would be nice for any Canadian team to bring the cup north of the border.
I'd love to see Winnipeg do it.
Me too.
Winnipeg, that would be fantastic.
That would be really fun.
For the long-suffering fans in Winnipeg, that would be amazing because they've never even been to a Stanley Cup final. So that would be an amazing run.
They have the players for it.
They do. It's just for whatever reason in the playoffs they stumble. So it's just a matter of having that run.
Never Edmonton.
I could see Edmonton though. I think with McDavid, I think he's too talented not to win a cup in his career. Do you need?
I'm getting cold. No,
I
don't have any tea. I finished my tea a while ago. Well, I need tea and I need a sweater.
We're gonna get going pretty quick, anyways, because
I put on my hockey sweater.
We do need to do other things today.
I know. I need to go make some food.
Yeah, she's got more baking she's gonna do.
I know. I need to go make a cherry cake and I need to make a fruit cake. So maybe a Yule log cake.
What do I think a Kuzmenko trade's worth? That's where you're really talking about some serious return for the Canucks because he has a low cap hit. He's a goal scorer or point producer. He can play up and down your lineup. Very good player. Has a good nose for the net. He's the kind of guy Pittsburgh, I think, is going to salivate over at the deadline. If the Canucks decide to move Kuzmenko because they can't re-sign him, I think they can make a really good return on that.
If you don't like the chat when Shannon and I are talking to each other, then maybe you shouldn't watch a live stream.
Aww.
Just saying.
But I like when we chat.
I know, but there's this one guy that keeps complaining about us talking to each other and I'm not reading the questions.
Yeah.
Because apparently I'm only supposed to read questions and we answer it and then we move on to the next.
Having watched
doing that for over 3 hours would be really boring.
Yeah, having watched live streams on other channels,
Can't you insulate the room better? I have tried insulating this room so much.
Blankets,
I have window insulators.
Coverings,
I have door insulators,
plastic.
plus wool blankets. I have foam over the space heaters.
Yeah.
I've got things over the door frame. It's the walls, though. This is a converted garage. There's not the insulation in the walls.
None.
So unless I lined all of the walls, there's only so much I can do.
See, and
I
you
have
talk about this,
insulated this room. I've even got outlet insulators where you take the plate off and you put the insulation on it.
I even moved the plug here because I could feel a draft off that outlet. So I moved it so that you couldn't get a draft off of it.
Oh, I have the outlet insulators. We can try it, but it only works so much.
But it's there's a limit, and when it's. And as I said in a video too at one point, this is an easterly facing wall. So we get the easterly outflow winds. That's just really, really strong cold wind on that wall constantly. You can feel a breeze off of it. And I don't know that there's enough insulation to completely protect against that. It's
what about additional wall with wooden frame with insulation? Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
We went through upgrading the electrical in this house, which cost a ton of money. So we've already gone through. So yeah, insulating a wall, insulating this would probably be a lot of money as well. And
this isn't our house.
yeah, it's really,
we rent.
I mean, it's nice that we keep doing things to help the resale value of the house for the landlords. That's nice, but I think there are limits on that as well. So
when Samsonov play is poor, is it a mental thing?
I mean, with goaltenders, the mental side of it is always going to be a part. It's always going to be a part of it with goaltenders. They seem to be made different than other players. But Samsonov's a good goaltender. He had a bad run last year in Washington, sure. Both he and Vanacek did. He's a good goaltender. The good thing with Samsonov is he seems to be able to shake off a bad game or a bad goal, and that's what you want to see with a goaltender.
I have a blanket on, cowl, wool, and sitting 6 inches from a space heater. It's true. I know. We have the space heater right there.
Space heater's on in
It's
here.
not close enough. I need, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go get on my big old double knit sweater. Yeah.
Once we're done here, I'm going to jump on the treadmill. So
this is not
when I'm in the treadmill, I could always, you could sit next to me and I generate heat.
He does.
On the old set.
Shannon is really hot.
On the old set, I would do the treadmill, and when I was done, the temperature in the room would be 2 degrees warmer.
That was a small room.
And that's the difference. And I don't have the treadmill in here because no.
Chris Tanev makes
partners.
Yeah, partners look so much better.
Tanev is one of the best defensive defensemen.
Build a full fund. Thanks, Quinn.
Yes, thank you, Quinn.
Oh my goodness. All right. I'll take that fruitcake. Oh, I do need to make the fruitcake. I know your mom likes fruitcake too. So.
Yeah, she does.
Me and the moms will all have fruitcake.
I'm not kissing you after that, though.
Shannon's really hot. Words Shannon totally agrees with. I know, because he knows. He sees himself in the camera. He knows that he's
that's
a
what I think when I look in the
piece
camera.
of man.
There are times where I look at the angle of the camera and I'm like, oh, that's not good.
For me, it's usually in the Patreon live streams that I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not look in a mirror before.
It's always funny when your
usually
hair is
my hair or I look extremely pale today.
See, I don't have hair, so I don't have that problem.
I
haven't had a bad hair day in about 20 years because I don't have hair. It was when we had a head lice problem in my house. This was before I was with Yvonne. This was when I had my previous relationship and kids, and head lice were in the house. And I was like, I'm just cutting all my hair off because that's it. That's it. And it's been a brush cut ever since. I've never let my hair grow long because I absolutely no. That's it for me. No. Plus, it does give the appearance of not being as bald as you are.
I've been watching THG for at least 5 years. I've watched it on mute. It's just eye candy for me. Right? See?
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's true though. I mean, just him being on video, it's a gift for all of us.
See, but before I met you and before the channel did what it's done, I was highly resistible for women worldwide.
It's a gift.
Women got together and decided we don't want that. And until I met Yvonne, that was basically the word. This is what you don't want. So
it's nice. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Nope. I don't like either. I don't know the difference between the two. Like,
if I had to, it'd be Backstreet.
Other than the songs that they say their name, I don't even know who it is.
It'd have to be Backstreet.
I never listened to those.
Of the two.
Merry Christmas, Shannon and Yvonne. What is your favorite Indian restaurant in the area? My guess is that it's in Surrey. Do you know Abbotsford? Abbotsford has so many Indian restaurants, and they are great. There are a lot of really good ones.
Gabriel orders from.
Which one?
Is it Eon's?
That one has the really good sweets.
There's the one with the butter chicken that you ordered from.
The spice. Oh my gosh.
Spice Hut?
No, Spice something.
Spice Kitchen?
It's right by a Superstore. That one's really good.
Okay.
I really like Zeka's. They're nice too, but they changed their butter chicken recipe a few years ago, and it's not quite as good as it used to be.
And then a lot of them too, they also serve pizza. So you can get Indian food or you can get pizza.
Indian pizza's great.
She's a big fan.
Yeah, the Indian food is fantastic. We live in a really good spot if you like Indian food. We do not have to go to Surrey because Abbotsford is full of the awesome Indian food. And this is why my mom gets banned. I do see them. Just because I don't read it out loud doesn't mean I don't see it.
When we took our wedding photos, my mother-in-law is blowing in my ear and licking my earlobe. Now, normally I'd be like, "Is that my wife?" But she wouldn't do that, so I knew it wasn't her.
Because girls, I feel like I missed out on life because I don't know what Indian pizza is.
It's good.
It's great.
It's good.
Because the Indians know how to season food really well.
The spice palette's very good.
Yeah, it's really good, and all their food smells great. Yeah, we do live where there's great food.
Ton of that food.
Yeah,
but
it's really good. And we live by Indian grocery stores, and those are fantastic too. And
our superstore here is different than like the one in Chilliwack is just and North America, like American food.
Freshco
but this one, it's all international. There's a lot more international cuisine because you have a lot of Asian foods too.
Yeah.
So like Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean. There's all kinds of varied kinds of foods. It's kind of great, honestly, living around here.
But we don't have Mexican food.
Not true Mexican food.
No. Nope, it is sad. We're missing.
So if we want the true Mexican food, we have to go to Vegas or we have to go to California, which is fine with us. We will go to Vegas and California. We will take that bullet.
Darn it, if we have to.
Darn it, we have to go back to Vegas. Oh, really?
It's again? A sacrifice. Willing to
we
make.
Have to stay at the Aria again. Oh no! With the nice bathrobes and
electrically heated socks. A great idea. I do use those little heat packs when I have to go outside for very long because I get way too cold.
You're cold all the time.
I am. Yeah, my hands are freezing.
Yeah, they are.
I do get cold. Somebody asked something and I forget what it was. I was going to answer. I don't remember what it was. I don't know. Indian food is awesome. Agreed. Yvonne, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. I finished my tea a while ago though, so that's sad. So we'll need to stop the live stream so I can go make myself some more tea.
Yeah, we will.
What is that?
How you doing?
Dork.
What's up?
Hunters use the battery heated socks.
Everything's attached. So how you doing?
Unscripted synchronization. We do that a lot. We are around each other way too much. Even when it's just us, we do frequently say the same thing.
There's times we're watching a TV show and she'll say, "Can you stop saying things before I have a chance to say them?"
Yeah, he will say,
"What show was it we were watching the other night?" And every time you went to say something, I was saying it.
No.
So
I don't know. But we do frequently finish each other's thoughts and
it does happen.
Say each other's thoughts out loud because we're around each other way too much.
Yep. That happens. Good for you. All right. Big old thumbs up for you. And some finger guns.
Any Christmas jerseys today? Where it's not our Christmas today. Today is our Christmas Adam. I'm going to keep saying it. It's Christmas Adam today.
Make fetch happen. You can't make fetch happen.
Auntie makes amazing Mexican food. Why haven't I had your Mexican food? What's up with that?
Things you just didn't know.
I know.
Now you know. Knowing is half the battle.
But our daughter is with her dad for Christmas this year. So she comes home on Boxing Day.
Yep.
So we do Christmas the day after. So we haven't done any of our Christmas stuff.
Nope.
We don't do our Christmas dinner. We don't do any of our presents, nothing like that. So Shannon singing "I'm Too Sexy for My Jersey." Yes.
As fun as that song is, I will not be singing that on the channel.
He can sing it to me though. I don't mind.
There were 40 years of women voting no on this.
Having Indian friends is the best. They make the best Indian food.
See, I used to like that. There was a family I hung around with that was from El Salvador, and part of the reason I hung around with them is because it was really good. Like, I mean, we would call it Mexican food, but El Salvador, right? And yeah, the food was great. So there were a couple of times I made food just to make it up to them, and they would always kind of snicker, like, "Oh, he's gonna make food." Yeah, I can make food. I know what I'm doing.
Does Shannon sing? Not out loud.
Not generally, no.
I hear him. I'm pretty much the only person that ever hears Shannon sing.
There's a reason. I am completely tone deaf.
He's not as bad as he thinks he is.
Tone deaf, couldn't carry a note if it had a handle on it. If I was singing on Broadway, they'd shut it down.
You'd have to dance too, though.
Oh, I can dance.
I know you
I can dance.
I know.
We've done the dancing part.
Skills.
Think like Ross from Friends kind of dancing. Like it's some serious skills there. So like when Ross and Monica were trying to,
my
get on there
sister-in-law
for New
is
Year's.
Indian, but they are vegetarian. That's very common.
That is pretty common.
So now all the lamb and stuff. A lot of Indians, at least here, because a lot of them are Sikh and a lot of Sikhs are vegetarian. A lot of Indians are vegetarian here. Most of my Indian friends are vegetarian.
But it means when you're ordering from restaurants, you get good vegetarian options.
Yes, but I like a lot of the vegetarian food. So
yeah, there you go.
A lot of the Indian vegetarian food, great. Yes,
can be.
Yep, pakora and samosas and dal. Yep, they don't need meat. Great. Okay. Anyways, how's the tiny hat staying on? Christmas magic.
Yvonne does sing.
I do sing.
She does sing. She sings.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have, there were times that she would drop me off at work when I was working at the meat plant, and I would put on songs I knew she'd sing along with, and I'd just wait for it.
And then he does that, and so I don't know, because I don't.
But it's funny because she wants to. She wants to.
Who's taller? Shannon. Shannon's 2 inches taller than me. Does she sing Barbie Girl by Aqua?
She can. No. She can. She knows the song.
I do know the song.
She's more likely to sing along with Ace of Base, though.
That's true.
That she ends up singing along with when it's on.
Ace of Base is fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Shannon's taller. He's the tall one of the two of us, which isn't that tall. But
no.
Our boys kind of tower over us.
Yeah.
Vancouver has a huge Asian influence. Right? They do. Yeah. The Chinatown in Vancouver is great. It's a little bit sad right now. But
they're trying to revitalize it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do, because Chinatown's really, really nice.
We've got awesome Asian grocery stores. We really like to go to TNT.
Yep.
Those are fun.
Which is right near the Vancouver Stadium.
Well, there's a bunch of them. But yes, there is one right by.
Yeah, because there's that big, like, Chinatown mall that's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got all sorts of cultures in our area. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. But at any rate, we should get going. Other stuff going on and whatnot. So thank you guys for coming out. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. We could probably end up doing another live stream maybe on New Year's, that kind of thing. So, or maybe New Year's Eve.
Shannon's like 6'2". I've seen him. He's huge. Right. You can tell from all of the hockey meetups that Shannon's super tall. But you can also see from the meetups, he's just about as super tall as everybody else at the meetups.
It's true.
Here in Canada, anyways. When we go to the other ones, people are taller. You two are adorable, and we enjoyed your live stream tonight. Thanks.
No problem.
Aw, thank you. And they were here like the whole time.
Thanks,
I
Toots.
saw that. Not Toots. Shannon. Oh my gosh. He's such a brat. Such a brat.
Right. Anyways, guys,
Shannon's
thanks for coming out.
A boy.
But we will do this again sometime soon, maybe on the New Year's and whatnot. Thanks, Lars, for all your help. And yeah, we will.
This girl won't read. Been here for an hour.
Aw,
You're welcome. I know. Apparently not. I don't read comments because I was busy just talking to you. Didn't you know that?
That's true. That's very true.
You're welcome.
Right. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming out, and we'll do this again soon. Take care, and merriest of merries to you.